Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Happy Thursday, Cleveland. Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. In the hot seat today is Mike Polk.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for having me again. Second time out. I want to say I watched the show yesterday. I'm a big fan because I was invited to be on it. So I watched from outside there, and I thought it was great. Yeah. A lot of improvement. Couple of notes. Okay?
Please,
First of all, I like, and you'll take these with the good nature and humor that they're intended, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
First of all, I love the dynamic we have going here where you tell people that they stink.
Yeah.
Like, you just blatantly say you stink,
right.
and you defend them and say, like, maybe they don't totally stink.
Jay says it behind the scenes. He's just being
Exactly.
politically correct
Well,
on the air.
if I'm going to put it out there in public,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it in a way that I would
gotta
do it if they were in the room.
I get it.
If they
And
were
you're
in the
also
room.
like the mayor of the show, so you actually you
Well,
have to be like.
Is that that's the most on-brand thing of all time for me.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, you
He's a
kid
TV
me
guy.
because
Yeah,
I'm
I
too
don't give a
nice.
rat's
I know,
ass.
and I love it. I love
You
that
know,
dynamic.
Austin Hedges sucks, and that's the end.
Well,
I love that Austin Hedges is a professional baseball player who played like college, made it to the
Yes.
highest level of baseball. And you're like,
Exactly.
he stinks.
No,
sucks.
no, that's not what I had an issue with. What I loved, and I got several responses from yesterday, Bull seriously believes he could go out there and do better.
Of course I don't.
I know.
But when I pushed you on it, you're
Oh,
like, I'm better.
No, of course I don't really
Okay,
believe
more
that.
notes.
First
More
note.
notes.
Yes.
Next note, we got to figure out that, well, first of all, I love the segment yesterday where you're educating us. I thought that was great. I think we should do it all the time.
Yeah.
But I also want you to know that I was an ally in grade school. And can we show this? Can we show me being an ally in grade school? There it is. Wicker chair.
way.
The wicker chair picture. See? Way ahead of my time. I was in Black Lives Matter.
Hey.
And so I took that picture to be
How
like,
about
to
that
show
shirt,
solidarity.
too?
Hey, we stand.
Do you
with
still have that shirt?
That's enough. I do. I'll wear it next week. Okay, so that's my next
Mike
note.
gets the honorary black card.
yeah.
Love that segment.
I'm gonna get you a do-rag. You
I'd
can
love
wear
it. It would look great.
Yeah.
So last note, we got to figure out this. Remember we get penalized if you say Indians instead of Guardians, and I said that for reference, so it's allowed.
Yeah.
But yesterday we did a thing where you guys were saying, well, what if we're talking about the Indians in the past,
Yeah.
so you're allowed to say that.
You are.
We got to figure this out right now, though, because are you going to say for all time that anything that isn't happening contemporaneously is the Guardians, and anything that happened in the past
I
before?
agree with Mike.
It's too confusing.
You cannot say that the Guardians lost the 2016
I know.
World
This is
Series.
the trick.
So
Okay.
I think, and it's a great question. It's a
Right.
really interesting point.
And let me finish my point first.
Yeah.
And that is because here's why you're right. Because if I were going to say I went and saw the Browns play Houston in 1988, I wouldn't be like I went and saw the Browns. I would say I saw them play the Oilers.
Right.
I wouldn't
Right.
say I saw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So we got to figure out that balance though, because otherwise we're going to be abusing that, and it'll be like I was talking about the Indians from
Right.
before. You know.
You figure it out.
That's a
You're the
clean
voice
sheet.
of reason.
Can you guys figure it out at home? Can you guys come up with a good system that's
Yeah.
fair to? Because I don't want to. It's
Put
too
it in
much
the
work.
comment section, and we'll get to
Put
that.
it in the comment section.
when we figure out what the internet is talking about.
Best suggestion we will take, and that's what we will apply, because it's just going to be a melee otherwise.
It will be, but I do think if you're talking historically,
Yes.
and you're referencing pre-2022,
Right.
they're the Indians.
What if we say?
I'm not going to wipe
what if
them
we say
out like they
safety
never existed.
Indians because it's the past, or
What
like
are we
call
gonna-
that way you're
Oh, I see.
acknowledging that
Okay.
you know, so that way you know it's not a slip up. So like if you say like you make a hand gesture or something to prove that you are doing it on purpose. You guys figure this out in the comments. Tell us
right.
what we should do.
I like that.
But we definitely need to come up with something, because we're going to be doing this swear jar thing where I don't know am I ruining a secret here?
No.
We're going to be doing like a swear jar thing where if we accidentally say that, we donate like $1 into charity, or maybe $5, depending on how generous we're feeling and how needy the charity is, I guess.
I think how often we do it. Like
Yeah.
if we don't
Yeah.
slip up very often, it should be a lot. It should
Yeah.
be $10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Any other notes
Last
on yesterday's
note,
show?
just to the tech, honestly, the sound sounded so much better yesterday. You guys nailed it.
Yeah.
Nice job on that. I mean it, seriously. It did.
Yeah.
By comparison, I thought it sounded really good, so good job, everybody. Great job in the
I
booth.
also think
Those are my notes.
We made huge strides on the lighting. Like, can we take that shot's looking pretty good right
Yeah,
now?
look at
that's
us.
right.
Better?
Yeah.
I think it's better.
It doesn't look like we're like hosting a haunted thing where we're setting up a horror movie and introducing it.
Right. Y'all got to work on my skin tone a little more. I know it's difficult. We'll get it
Yeah.
together.
It's tricky.
Well, it's just a contrast, bro.
Yeah, it is. Look, right now,
Yeah.
it's
You
just
can't have
like-
him next
Mike
to me.
and I are like the whitest, paley,
My color's alabaster. That's not helpful at all.
Alabaster.
Yeah. No, but you're right. LCDs are they're not very kind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
they're
These
not.
are the old school lights.
But we working.
Okay.
We working.
So those are my notes. Great show,
It's
guys.
great to have you here. And of course, if you're just joining us for the first time, Adam the Bull, G Money, G Bush, and Jay Crawford.
AKA your favorite's favorite. By the way, let's talk about the Mighty Ducks today. Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
Get your
let's do
kicks
it.
up there.
Great first movie.
Those match.
It's got the teal. Is that what that color is?
Yeah, that's teal. That's teal. You know what I'm saying?
All
Gotta
right.
have it authentic. Hey, don't be having no iron on. If you wearing a jersey out there, if you wearing
gotta be
jerseys,
patched.
it gotta be sewn. Listen, Betsy Ross had to sew this on. Do not be coming out here with the iron on joints.
Don't disgrace yourself.
That does not count.
Very good.
G. Bush was doing a Playgirl shoot.
Earlier.
He was taking pictures before.
Yeah, man.
By
you
the
know.
way, that's the only. I think it's the only sports team that the movie is more popular than the team, right?
Facts.
Do they still have a team?
You're right. I'm not even sure.
Like
They're Disney sponsored now, aren't they?
Do we know? Does anybody know
I
that
don't
they
know.
have it? I'm not
No, they
positive.
exist.
No, I think they still have a team.
Yeah,
but I
they
think
do.
they aren't owned by Disney, which means we're not even allowed to go see them because we have to protest that team now. What a hassle.
Yeah, it does get very
You know?
confusing.
Yeah.
All right, here's where we're going to start today's show. It's a big day, really, for all NFL fans because this is the day that we can plan the rest of our year, our calendar year. Which week can we take off in the fall? When are the Browns going to be home? When are they going to be on the road? It is the release of the NFL schedule. That happens tonight on the NFL Network at 8 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, by the way, we'll find out our first game of the season. So that will be, I think all the teams are allowed to announce that at 6 o'clock. I love the way the NFL does this. They just dribble drabs of information so they stay in the news cycle.
They know what they're doing.
It's really, really
The
well
NFL
done.
draft is bigger. The NFL schedule release is bigger than the NBA playoffs.
No,
That's
that's
Yes.
false.
Which are still going
yes,
on.
it is.
No.
Let's see what gets better viewing
Well,
tonight.
this is a 2-hour event on live TV. The NBA playoffs go on for
Eternally.
2 months.
Eternally.
And if you add up all the views, it's 100 million viewers.
Yeah, that's one. I'm just saying tonight. I wonder what gets more views.
We can check that out.
Yeah.
On tomorrow's show, we'll give the ratings when we get them, or we might have to wait till Monday.
But now the NFL's turned this into a whole week. It's a whole week.
have. Yeah, that
they
was my
slow
point.
release. It's amazing.
Yeah,
they
they're
can
brilliant.
monetize anything.
PR geniuses.
Yeah.
So let's put up on the screen what we already know, because we know that the Browns this year are going to only have 8 home games to 9 road. Here's the home games they get. Obviously, the 3 in the division. You get Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens. We'll get to see coming to Cleveland the Saints, the Jets, the Buccaneers. Tom Brady will be here, the Patriots, as well as the Chargers. Now we'll show you the games that they have on the road. And again, we know the 3 divisional opponents are all going to be road games as well. That's the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Steelers. Also, we'll be going to Miami this year, to Washington, to Carolina, Buffalo, Houston. That could be real interesting. And the Falcons. Guys, here's our start-off question today. If you could make the schedule, what's your dream matchup for Week 1?
Guys, I like starting off, and I think I'm in the minority opinion here, but I love starting off against a good opponent. And the opponent that I want to see them play is I was about to say San Diego, but it's the Los Angeles Chargers. Because I want a good opponent, but I want a good opponent that's got a little bit of a disadvantage that they have to travel West Coast to East Coast. Even though it's first week, it's not as big a deal, but I like that. I like the challenge of facing Justin Herbert in Week 1. Their great running game with Austin Eckler. Their really good wide receiving core. I want to play a really good team. I want an early test. Now, the one caveat is I'm hoping that Deshaun Watson's going to play Week 1.
Sure.
I'd probably change my mind if I knew for sure he wasn't playing, and then maybe I'd want all the weak opponents in the beginning. But I'm going to go with the premise and be hopeful that Deshaun Watson's going to play the whole season, which may not be true, but I'm going to go with that premise. And if that's the case, I want the Chargers coming to Cleveland for Week 1.
All right, we'll give all of our dream Week 1 opponents, and then we'll kind of just discuss it round table. Mike, who do you want to see the Browns open with?
See, I can't take that same approach because I have to assume that he's not going to be playing in week 1 right now because I don't know any better. If I knew any better, so that's how I've got to go at it. Knowing that, I've got to go Pittsburgh. I want to take them while they're weak, when they're trying to figure stuff out. Week 1, you know what they can do when they have time to adjust. They have an excellent system. I could see them finding their groove by the middle of the season and becoming a team somehow, despite what they're looking like on their roster right now. And I love the idea of playing them at home because I think we're going to be a disaster and they're going to be a disaster, and just throw all that chaos together and we might come out lucky. Now, I think unfortunately, I don't think it's likely that Pittsburgh's going to play. I think they're going to have to play at home this year because they haven't had a home game in their first game since 2014, and they're pretty upset about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're probably going to throw them a bone there, but that's who I would love to see.
Poor Steelers. They've been treated so roughly by the league. I know, those poor sons of guns.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how they get by.
But I want them week 1.
Okay. What do you got, G?
Man, listen, can I see that graphic real quick again?
Which
right
one?
fast, the one with all the teams.
The home or the road?
Give me the home joints. Give me the home joints.
Okay.
Cue that up for your boy. I don't know what the heck y'all talking about, man. Y'all coming out here with competent people and give me the Steelers. No.
You want the Jets then,
Thank you. Yeah. Get on right back on. He want the Chargers. I want no parts of neither one of them. Give me the New York Football Jets, week 1. Deshaun Watson, I'm going to assume that you're going to be able to play. And then what we'll do, we'll just work on our game plan. I want to start the season off 1-0. I want to start off feeling good about myself. I want to start off beating the brakes off somebody and looking real good getting to week 2. The last thing we need. Now, when is the last time the Browns won an opening game?
I think Eisenhower was in the White House.
Right. Listen.
It's literally, guys, it's ridiculous how many openers they've lost.
Guys, we need to snap out of this loser mentality. And the loser mentality is, let's have an easy game. If you have a good coach and you have a good team and you have a good quarterback, go kick a good team's ass in week 1. That's what I'm sick of this. We're always we got to play a bad team. We don't. First of all, everybody thought the Bengals were going to suck last year. They went to the Super Bowl. You never know. What if Zach Wilson has a big year 2 step up like Joe Burrow did? I agree they'll probably won't be good, but you never know for sure.
Guess what,
Let's go. Justin Herbert, take him on.
In school.
Deshaun Watson's as good as any quarterback,
I don't know if he's going to be there.
In elementary school, they don't start off with proficiency tests the first day.
That's the best point we've heard so far. Ease into it.
Ease right in. They teach you how to go to gym. You line up for lunch.
Not everybody can ease into it.
You get to learn how. Listen, let's learn to tie your shoes today. By the end of the year, we'll get to proficiency tests of whether or not you pass.
This schedule's tough. This tough game's the whole schedule. You'll have plenty of tough games to get to later.
Yes.
Let's get the tough test right. If you're as good as you think you're going to be, the Browns are going to get a lot of hype this year. If Watson plays the whole season. I know what Mike said, and I get what he's saying, and in the end, he'd probably be right. But who knows? If they, as we've talked about, if they decide to wait till this all hashes itself out, then it might not happen this year, especially because, as you said, Jay, the other day, the league might say, you know what? They set up their contract so Watson doesn't lose a lot of money. We're going to suspend him next year and have this hang over his head. If that happens, then let's go. Let's be ready to go week 1. The Browns are never ready to go week 1. They need to be.
But we don't know if that's going to happen. What we should have established before we said this was we have 2 opening game options. If Deshaun Watson is actually on the field and if he's not, because it changes everything.
It does change everything. But I like where you're going with Jets.
Give me the Jets. Even if he is suspended, I still want the Jets.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If he's suspended, I'll go with the Jets.
See, it changes.
So
it does.
Mikey McNuggets, you just got my ear and gave me a great stat, but I think you should give this to the audience because I mean I kind of guessed that this would have been true, but it's when you hear it, it's stunning. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Browns haven't won an opening season game since 2004. Joe Thomas lost 16 in a row during his career.
Come on, bro. You got to start off 1-0. I need that 1-0. I need that.
Wait, Joe Thomas didn't play 16
years.
No,
he didn't play 16 years.
He played
Since
11.
2004 was the last time the Browns
won
an opening game.
I got it.
Yeah,
okay, so it's been 16 years, but Joe lost all 11
never
of his
won a
seasons.
home.
They had a tie. They had a tie against the Steelers.
That's not a win.
They did have a tie.
And that's why he's in the hall. That's why he's going into the hall. That tie.
Yeah, because he put up with that and did, and like you said yesterday, he signed up for staying here.
Yeah.
And they've gotten crushed in a lot of these week 1 games.
It's
too.
brutal.
And
Sets the tone.
guys, I'm going to take your approach,
I like that,
but I am going to change things up a little bit. Can we see the graphic for the road games? Because I want to start on the road.
Okay.
This year, so every year, teams are either going to have 9 at home or 8 at home, and then it will alternate in years. This year, we have 9 road games. So as I look at that, I'm trying to figure out what's the most winnable road game there. And I'm going to circle the Carolina Panthers. That, in my view, is the most winnable road game. And my dream scenario, though, I've done a lot of thinking on this, guys.
I believe it.
I've thought too much about it.
Yeah.
In my dream scenario, Baker Mayfield starts for the Carolina Panthers. The Browns go to Carolina. Watson's on the field, and we drop 50 on them.
That's a lot of chess pieces that have to fall into place.
Well,
I'm laying this whole thing out, Mike.
If that's the case, we're good for 3 pick sixes against Baker. So, it'll probably happen. But I'd rather play Carolina midseason because McCaffrey will be hurt by then.
But
that's good.
Yeah, you're right. He may not be healthy by week 1.
Yeah.
Here's why I say, and Bull, I get what you want to come out of the gate strong in week 1 against a good team. That sets the tone. However, if you come out of this happened to the Browns last year, if you come out of the gate in week 1 and you play a great team, as they did, and you play a pretty good game and you come up a little short, it takes a lot of wind out of your sails.
Yep.
Give me a win over a crappy team on the road, because when you win road games here, that's real schedule equity. If you can win road games in the NFL, it's almost like 2 wins because you're not supposed to win that.
I think good teams can get over that quickly. I think that's the problem.
Your scenario is good if they win. But I would rather beat a crap team on the road in week 1 than lose to a good team at home and say that, well, there's consolation points here because we were close. So I'm also going to ask you guys, and look at the schedule too, because we're going to pivot from that to your nightmare week 1 scenario, and I'll start and we'll work away our way back. So here's my nightmare matchup for week 1. Mikey, can we put the road games back up, please? Here's my nightmare scenario for week 1. The Browns are at the Carolina Panthers. And I'll tell you why that can be a nightmare scenario.
I get it,
Because what if Baker Mayfield is the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers in week 1, and Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback for the Browns in week 1, and we go there and get it handed to us? There is no worse way this team can start the season.
Twitter will explode.
It will break the internet.
Elon Musk will be like, it's exploding. I don't know what to do.
I actually think the worst road team is Houston. I think they're worse than Carolina.
They probably are. I just went with Carolina.
But I like that.
I'm going with the Baker
thing.
To me, guys, the nightmare scenario is playing at Buffalo week 1. Oof. Now, I want a tough game week 1, but I don't want to play the toughest game.
Like we did last year. We had
right.
Kansas
The
City.
toughest game on their schedule, at least on paper right now, is at Buffalo.
No argument.
I don't want to play that game week 1.
I don't want Cincinnati just because I think that could go poorly, and I think that could really set a tone, and I think that they're for real, and I don't need to be reminded of that. I know we owned them technically last year, although the second game obviously wasn't a real game.
But just use the one game that we did own them was at their place, and they weren't in it.
With Baker Mayfield playing, and it's a totally different scene now. And I like to remember that we're 2-0, and I don't need to be reminded.
Baker Mayfield against the Bengals is the greatest quarterback of all time. He's undefeated. He's a monster. Though obviously the worst game of the year is if you start on the road at Baltimore. That is, I'm gonna tell you right now, on the road at Baltimore with Lamar Jackson running around, J.K. Dobbins is back, the offensive line they had a great draft, and Lamar Jackson is in a contract year.
He's mad. He's not paid yet.
He's mad. He ain't got no money yet. You're tired. It's September. It's hot as hell.
Gee, that's his choice.
Well,
he hasn't showed up at the table to negotiate. And he's being crazy not having an agent. That's nuts to me.
I think you're right.
Maybe he's not blown away by the offers yet.
He knows what the neighborhood is,
and
he's telling them wrong zip code.
Yeah.
He knows. They've had some dialogue.
Right.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about that is, and this is off topic briefly, has Lamar Jackson lost his fastball a little bit? Like last year, he wasn't Lamar Jackson.
Hard to get a read.
And Miami sort of gave the other teams the blueprint for how you. Now, not everybody can play cover zero. I get that.
Yeah.
But he looked human to me last year, and that was the first time I thought he looked human.
If I'm not giving Baker a pass for injury, then I'm not giving Lamar a pass for injury either, and I don't give passes for injuries. You're on the field, you got to play well. We've said that a million times.
Yep, I'll give you
Lamar
that.
Jackson has not been as good since his MVP season. He hasn't. Even in 2020.
That's my point.
2020, he was good, not great. 2019, he was phenomenal.
Has the league caught up to what he does?
I don't think so. But he needs to be better. His game needs to improve. His passing has improved, but his decision-making still needs work.
They didn't
How
have a
old is
big
he?
drop-off, by the way. When
He's
Huntley
young.
came in last year, it's not like you saw this huge drop-off in their offensive performance.
No, but they lost a lot of games.
Well, they did,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, it's like when you looked at the
I
numbers
think the Ravens are
afterwards-
overrated. And this is going to be part of my final thoughts. So I don't want to go too deep into it. But I think we are so beaten down as Browns fans that we assume everything the Steelers and Ravens do is gold. And that's just not true.
Well, because usually it is.
Neither of this idea that the Ravens have this brilliant draft.
They
They
had a
haven't
draft.
played a single game yet.
They got a good draft.
I've been told too many. This guy's a great draft pick. Let's see him play. The Ravens' defense is not very good, and neither is the Steelers.
No, the Ravens' defense can be had, but I do think that most, and you're right, we
Yeah.
don't know what a draft class looks like until we see them
Right.
on the field in real games.
How-
but I think most experts agree the Ravens killed the draft.
But the experts have been wrong plenty of times.
they-
Yeah.
yeah.
However, we got to look
Yeah.
at it. The AFC North is really good. They've been good for a long time.
Of course, I just think the Ravens are a little overrated.
Okay, that's fine. I will say the reason Lamar Jackson has lost a step, think about how many carries he's had since Louisville. Think about how many he has running
They had
back
no backfield
carries.
Well,
last
I
year.
think
Running
and
back
you're-
carries.
So the point you just touched on is why I believe the Ravens aren't willing to. First of all, the Ravens are really upset with what the Browns did.
Yes, they are.
Really
Some
upset.
kind of that's like a silver lining.
Yeah.
to
It is a silver
that,
lining. So we
you
got
know.
under
Yeah.
your skin. So that's a win too. But what they did is change the paradigm for how quarterbacks are paid
Yeah.
in the NFL, and who's going to be the first big guy to try to test this system.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar.
Right.
And so they're not prepared to write that big
Right.
check yet because of what you just said.
But somebody will.
And this was the question that everybody
Yeah.
had on
Carries.
Lamar Jackson after his breakout NFL season. Is that sustainable?
Right.
Like, how do you duplicate that over 12 years?
I do think Lamar is very smart when he slides. He doesn't take a lot of big hits.
He doesn't take direct hits. He's
You know, RG3 used to take big hits all the time early in his
yeah.
career. He was and
Yeah.
obviously Lamar's a little more put together than RG3 was.
Mikey wants to be in. What do you have,
I
Mikey?
think Lamar will last, but he needs to bounce back this year. He did not have a good season last year.
Hey, real quick,
Yeah.
in the last 5 minutes, the Twitter account that's been leaking the schedules
Yeah,
has put out what it believes is the Week 1 game for the Browns.
it is.
But that accounts.
Carolina.
I don't think that
No.
account is legit, is it?
Well, I'll tell you. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of accounts that have leaked games in
Yeah.
the past, but the NFL, and I don't know that they would push back if this account was wrong.
Right.
But I think the NFL is running that account.
I'm with conspiracy
This is
Jay
some
here.
I like
Machiavellian
that.
To
stuff.
the NFL.
No, I mean I
I get it.
Which one is
It's
this?
breadcrumbs, bro.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Build
so-
that excitement.
Listen, I think they leaked that shortly after I said that would be the best game for the Browns.
Well, they're obviously monitoring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I know, Roger. I know you're watching.
quality
I know you're a
control
big
purposes,
fan.
right?
But yeah, I do. That's my conspiracy theory for the day. Is I think that the NFL is. I'm not saying they're actually running that account.
Has that
but-
site been proven correct in the past?
well, we don't know because this is the first year that we've had so many leaks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, we'll know. Like at 8:00 tonight, we'll be able to cross-reference this site
Right.
and what they have been telling us. But there's been no pushback from the league, and like I said, I don't know that they would push back even if these games were not right.
And I just don't think Baker is going to end up on Carolina unless the Browns ate almost
Yeah,
all contract.
I'm not sure that
Sam
either. but
Darnold's making
it
a
made
lot of
for-
money.
It made for fun
It
conversation.
would, yeah, no doubt.
Did everybody do their nightmare pick? I kind of lost
Yeah.
track.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We nailed it.
All right, there we go. Yep, job well done.
We all nailed
well
it.
done, guys. Put that in your notes about
will.
tomorrow's show that we killed that part. Okay, so now, man, this is really bizarre. The Indians all of a sudden, there it is.
Can we get somebody on that?
The
Any
Guardians.
producers? Any produ-
The Guardians have COVID issues.
Yeah.
And so yesterday we broke it on the show. As soon as we heard it, we told you that Terry Francona had tested positive for the coronavirus. So after we went off the air, it was confirmed that they indeed scratched their afternoon getaway game
Right.
with the White Sox because it was rampant on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
They had multiple positives.
Right.
We don't know about players yet. They're really tricky on names. You know, early on
Yeah.
when Yu Chang had it, I was listening to Tom Hamilton on the radio, and he's like, "Well, he's on the not active list.
Right.
It used to be called the
Subtly
disabled
away.
list. But
IL.
we can't say what it is, but we all know what it is. You know, Tom
If a guy
does
goes on the
that.
IL without an injury
That's what it
designation,
is.
you know he's
Yeah.
on the COVID
so
list.
it was interesting, though, that we didn't hear anything about any of the players.
I saw they didn't test them. I think intentionally they're not testing them. They tested the people, they tested the coaching staff.
Yeah.
But then they're like, let's just not test them. They're doing that approach.
And which is tricky. Like, I mean,
it can get you back sooner. That's their thought.
What do we make of this? How concerned are we? This is the first cancellation of the Major League
from
season
from
so
a
far.
human standpoint, Jay, I know you know Terry. I know him a little bit,
Sure.
but you have and we both reached out to somebody with the Guardians yesterday. With Francona's health history, it's scary. And we know he's vaccinated.
Yep.
But because of his health history, I'm assuming he's immunocompromised. And all the recent surgeries he's had, I was a little worried for him, and so I reached out to see how he was feeling.
Fine.
Supposedly he's doing okay.
Yeah.
But, when you talk about people and some of the other coaches, they're older guys, you're a little concerned. That being said, I was surprised in the end that they canceled the game because I thought baseball really didn't want to cancel games this year.
Yeah.
They hadn't canceled any. We've had a sprinkling of COVID players, positive players. A lot of them have come back really quick.
And Bull, to me, it just kind of seems as an overarching theme. I think a lot of people in the general public just believe COVID is over. Like, it's not like when you outside a lockdown and you outside and you don't hear the numbers aren't blaring at you. I think everybody got a little tired of it. And now it's this thought process when you hear this.
Right.
They're like, well, COVID, he'll be all right. He'll come back in a couple days.
Right.
I think people in the general public.
By the way, we just hit the 1 million mark of people that have died.
But to G's point, perception in that case is reality.
Yes.
Like, in terms of the mortality rate, when this started, it was way, way higher than what it is now.
Right.
I think the misnomer about COVID was that, you get vaccinated, then you're good for life and you can't get it. Because the word that we were throwing around was, it's 98% efficacy rate.
Right.
Well,
it's just that you get less sick.
That doesn't mean you can't get it.
They didn't listen to the second sentence after that, where the doctors did say
didn't read
it
the
doesn't
fine
mean you
print.
can't get it.
Yeah.
Right.
So then they acted like they heard that and
Right.
then just
So
said,
right.
I thought I couldn't get it if I got the vaccine.
Right.
Yeah,
But
no.
one
just
ever
Most
don't
of the
get
people
as
that are
sick.
dying are unvaccinated.
Yes.
That is still
Yes.
true to this
Yes.
day. So I think we've entered this new phase of COVID where
Right.
we no longer look at it as. Remember when we heard Tom Hanks? That was the first big name that I had heard.
We were like, we're going to lose
I was
Forrest.
like, oh no, Tom's going to die.
right.
I remember Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was the first. They're like, Kevin Durant it was on the nightly news. Like,
The first guy was what's his name on it was the basketball player that touched the microphones after he got COVID.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
And then that's when they shut the NBA down 24
that's how
hours
far
later.
we've
Yeah.
come.
Yes.
Remember when your we know a lot more.
Remember
about
when your
it.
first family member or friend got it, and you're
Yeah.
just like, I'm gonna lose my Uncle Tom. And then,
I know.
for the most part, everybody was fine. But now you hear it. Like I'll get texts from a friend like, can't come and meet you at the bar. I got COVID. I'm like, all right. Never
Yeah,
mind."
we'll see you in 3 days. See you in 3
Yeah.
days.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
So we have entered this sort of new world. I'm not too concerned about the scheduling problem, and here's why. So the Chicago game has to be made up. That's a divisional game. You play them 19
Doubleheader,
times, you'll just double them up later in the year.
Yeah.
Even if they are to cancel, because here's their upcoming games. They go to Minnesota and you would think that after the series in Minnesota, that those that are sick would probably be close to clearing protocol. What you don't want to see is have 8 guys on the team test positive,
Right.
and you can't field a team. But even if some of these games in Minnesota get wiped, it's not that big a deal because you can double them
Agreed.
up later when you go there.
Agreed,
Baseball,
but you don't want to go too far. Like if they met some of those teams, like in 2020, remember the Cardinals ended up playing like 13 doubleheaders, and you don't want to get in a situation like that.
To that point, when you look at the schedule, Cincinnati is next.
Right.
Now, if those games get canceled, that's a problem.
Right.
Because
You don't want to go that far.
Well, now it's
Yeah.
you're playing interleague games.
Yeah.
And trying to
Right.
match them up again for one game or 2 games. That could be.
I do think they
nightmare.
play them 2 games. Oh, they did
This
already.
is the last
they
time.
did already.
So
yeah,
they're
that's
not
right.
scheduled to play
Yeah.
Cincinnati again this year.
Right.
So you would now have to cross-reference the schedule,
Yeah, it's a
find a
pain in
day
the
when
neck.
both teams are off. It's going to be a travel nightmare
Yeah.
for Cleveland because this game is in Cincinnati.
Right. And
So-
if you are if they somehow hang in that wild card mix, that extra day that you can't get off now could be a difference.
That's a great
Couple
point.
of points to put this in perspective real fast. 2020, they missed 90 games. 900 games were postponed in 2020. Think about that.
Yeah.
900 total
And it
games.
was a short season.
Yes.
Well, that's
so
why.
900 games because
It
of
was
COVID.
almost
Because
a
COVID
lot.
was
right,
rampant.
right.
We didn't know
Yeah,
what we
right.
were dealing with.
Yeah.
We thought if you caught it, you probably died within 10 minutes. So everybody was playing it super safe.
Yeah.
And I get it. Last year they only postponed 6 games. That surprised me.
I didn't realize it was that low.
It was that few.
Yeah.
This is the first one this year,
Yeah.
so it's not that big of a deal. And last Friday, 6 games were postponed due to rain.
That's true.
So
so
really,
it
put it in perspective.
I'm glad you did that.
Crushed my
The
fantasy
voice of
team.
reason once again.
Yes,
Mike Polk.
yes, again. And think about how devastating baseball plays. All these games, they have all these pitchers. It's just the sport that can absorb it the best. Think about if this goes down during a Browns game or NFL game during the season.
Well,
You're
we
just
did
like
with the Packers last year. That whole mess.
Crazy.
Remember the game got delayed. It was
Kevin Stefanski not coaching from his basement.
Yeah,
all
that's
that stuff.
Wow.
And hasn't Stefanski had it like 7 times already?
Think
It's
so.
like, he had it. You're like, wait a minute, how do you get it again?
Every
Stefanski
variation.
and Lamar Jackson have the most.
They get it. Every variation.
Right, we're going to take our first break on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. When we come back, we're going to continue our NFL talk, and I'm so excited about this. Bull, you tease this segment. You're friends with her.
Yes, Aditi Kinkhabwala, formerly of the NFL Network. I mean, how they were dumb enough to let her get out the door, I have no idea. But she's one of the best NFL reporters out there, and specifically for our purposes, she knows the AFC North, especially the Browns, the Steelers, and the Bengals, inside and out. So we're going to talk to her about Baker. She knows Baker, obviously. We'll talk to her about the upcoming schedule. What's next for the Steelers at quarterback. She's going to give us some awesome insight that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, and she's going to be a regular on the show, and we are absolutely thrilled about that. Also, coming up later in the show, we're going to talk about the Cavaliers and this guy.
Love him.
Darius Garland. If you haven't read the GQ article yet, get a copy of it, read it. We've pulled 4 of what we think are the best quotes from the article. We're going to tell you what he says about Cleveland and about the long-term prospects of playing in our city when the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show comes right back. Stay with us. Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I'm a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. My favorite all-time Cleveland sports moment, you're not going to believe this, it was Rajay Davis's home run in Game 7 that tied the score.
My favorite Cleveland sports moment would have to be the Kyrie Irving 2016 shot. It's the only time that I've ever cried over any sporting event.
And my ultimate Cleveland memory is when the Cavs won the championship and the day of the parade. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life.
What matters most to me is family. Sometimes you don't realize how important it is until you're away from them.
What matters most to Jay? His family. He is a big family man. What matters most to me? My family, my safety, your safety.
I think the thing that most impresses me about Betsy is her versatility. Give her any assignment that involves going in front of a television camera, and she's going to knock it out of the park.
What's new with Betsy and Jay? Weekdays at 5 on 3. Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter. To you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared, from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I am a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. I have carried my fandom every city I've ever lived in. People have always asked me, why are you so diehard about Cleveland? It's because I'm from here. And we know how much our teams mean to us. Most of us know that because of our parents. In my case, my father was just a huge Cleveland sports fan. It was really part of our life. It was woven into everything we did. And it was our connection throughout his life.
Welcome back. It's the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Are you thrown off? I know I'm a little thrown. I'm bringing it back. I don't know what's going on.
It worked.
Yes, I think it did, but we just lost it now. Aditi Kinkhabwala, formerly of the NFL Network, now on to bigger and better things. She's one of my best friends in the business, and most people in this business suck, and she doesn't, so that's why I love her. But she's an amazing reporter, and we're so happy to have her as the first official female guest on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
And can we point out how much we love her in Browns gear?
Look at that. She's got a Browns t-shirt on.
Well, I had my elf t-shirt on, but I've never worn black on camera since my first year on TV. It's like the black hair on the black shirt. It just doesn't work. But I do have my official elf gear. That counts for anything.
And your connection to the Browns and to Cleveland goes deeper. Tell the story for those who don't know about how even though you live in Pittsburgh, you're originally from the... I always find it funny when people say, she's a Steeler fan. She grew up in New Jersey. She's not a Steeler fan. But she covers the Steelers.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Giants fan.
Tom Coughlin, the Giants, yeah, like the whole thing. I was born in New York City, grew up in New Jersey. I am indeed married to a Steelers season ticket holder. But
we won't hold that against you. Yeah.
There are plenty of other things to hold against us. But yes, actually, so 3 years ago, I was in Cleveland to cover the Titans at Browns season opening game. This was Freddie Kitchens' first official game as the head coach. And my daughter decided to push me into labor 8 weeks early. So sitting in a Cleveland hotel room at 32 weeks pregnant, my daughter decided it was time to show up. I went to the Cleveland Clinic. The gentleman who delivered my baby, the doctor who delivered my baby, had just heard me on the radio talking about Baker Mayfield and wanted to talk about Baker Mayfield when I was saying, hello, baby. And so my daughter was born in Cleveland, and we were stuck in Cleveland. And the Browns so lovingly sent us so much Cleveland gear. And I do need to bring this up. I was at a pro day a year ago, I think at the University of Georgia, and I had gone for a run. I was wearing Cleveland Browns gear to run, and I came back into the hotel, and Steelers general manager Kevin Colbert and Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin were there. And Kevin Colbert said, Aditi, what's with that Brown stuff? And I said, well, my daughter was born in Cleveland, and the Browns very lovingly sent us clothing because we had nothing, and it was free, so I wear it. And Mike Tomlin goes to me, hey, Aditi, you wear that free stuff. So there you go.
Hey,
that's good.
One thing I like about Mike
$1
Tomlin.
$1,000 a year, and he says, you wear the free clothing. I'm going to wear the free clothing.
It's good advice. Always listen to Mike Tomlin.
And she looks great in it, too. So,
Yes.
I mean, and by the way, you weren't stuck in Cleveland, Aditi. You were lucky enough to be in Cleveland.
Great hospitals.
That's a great story,
Yeah.
though. I remember hearing it. You guys talk about it on the radio, and I thought, that baby is smart.
Yep.
That baby knew where she
had a
it was
Cleveland
supposed
anchor
to be
baby
born, and now you know. The rest is history.
Right.
You know, Jay, it's so funny, and you're an old friend. I believe that you are indeed old friends with Chris Rose. We talk about it. Is being born in Cleveland a badge of honor, or does that just set you up for a life of recognizing where we
Both.
what's
Both.
really tough and what's not?
No, you're exactly right. It is both.
It
When
toughens you up to be from Cleveland because you learn to deal with adversity.
Right. And
Fair.
and good people come from Cleveland.
Absolutely.
That's how we rationalize it.
Well, you have to do it somehow.
I know.
Yeah,
And
right.
that's how we do the mental math. Aditi, I want to ask you about something that's pretty timely in the news cycle right now because we dealt with this on the show yesterday. But a big story here was Deshaun Watson blocking one of the Browns beat reporters, Daryl Ryder, on Twitter. We kind of discussed, are you concerned about that? Daryl, when he tweeted out the image of Watson blocking him, said, here he is, the new adult in the room. Are you concerned at all about that? I know you've dealt so much with athletes. What do you make of that?
Okay, so on multiple levels, let me start with Daryl. I started at the NFL Network 11 years ago, and Daryl Ryder was one of the first very, very kind people to me when I came into Cleveland. And you come in, you're brand new, you don't necessarily know anybody. This is truly a genuine human being who cares about people. He has been lovely in many, many ways. I don't love the idea of, I understand that now athletes like this idea of cutting out the middleman. And it almost goes back to the Players Tribune, even before athletes were taking control of their brands and their social media accounts. I appreciate that they want to get their message out on their own, but you're also losing a piece of the puzzle here. And that is that the media can indeed be valuable. And you can indeed, the same way that a reporter is looking for a story, you can also use a reporter to help disseminate information that you want to disseminate, to share your piece of the story that isn't necessarily getting told, to tell a piece of your story that isn't necessarily being told. And if you are the franchise quarterback in a new city that wants a new city to get to know you, then why are you cutting out a member of the media that you haven't even necessarily really met yet, who's trying to meet you with open arms and an open mind and say, hey, I want to share your story. I want to share who you are. I want to tell more of who you are than what the outside, perspective may be of you. That's not necessarily a full 360-degree view of you. So I don't love it. I really don't, especially this early in the game. Now, if this is somebody that has wronged you, that has not, in fact, met you with an open mind, okay, that's fair. But you've just gotten to town. You haven't really interacted with anybody yet. Why? I don't get that. I really don't.
Yesterday, Bull on the show said that he had reached out to Daryl, and Daryl didn't even know why he blocked him.
He didn't.
He couldn't come up with a specific story. And Aditi, to your point, that it doesn't serve Watson and his brand and his image well.
Right.
I would go to the next step too. As it pertains to Daryl, who I completely co-sign your remarks. He is one of the nicest, and same thing for me. My first day back in town, I was at Browns camp. Daryl was the first guy to come up to me, was very pleasant, super nice guy. But I did question why he would want to do that publicly, because now it seems like he's dug in on one side, Watson's on the other. And just like you said, Watson can use Daryl to get his message out. I don't know how Daryl covers the Browns, the biggest cover in town, with the wedge between he and the biggest player on that team. That's going to be problematic, I'm afraid, for Daryl.
And unfortunately, we've seen this, right? We saw Mary Kay Cabot, who has done a tremendous job covering the Browns for decades now, have that with Johnny Manziel. We saw Tony Grossi, who's covered the Browns for a very long time, have that with Baker Mayfield. This is where, Jay, I go back to, I mean, I'm aging myself when I say this, but I got into this profession 20 years ago. My very first editor told me, tell the story and get out of the way. It's not about you. It's not about me. If Antonio Brown is having a fight with me, it's not my role to sit here and share that with everybody. I still have to tell the story of Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger, whatever that story may be. And I'm using a Steelers example, which I'm sure will set everybody who's watching right now off. Isn't that part of the game? Aren't we supposed to rabble-rouse a little bit?
Yeah, you're right. We are. But that's why you're the pro that you are.
That's right.
I think she absolutely nailed that part of the story.
She's unbiased. Unlike me, I make every story about me, so let's do that right here, Aditi. Baker Mayfield, I don't even know if he knows I exist, but we've had a beef, or I've had a beef with his Twitter handle, and he blocked me on Twitter, and I don't care. I'm not a reporter. I don't need to have a relationship with him. And I think it's funny that he blocked me, so I don't care. But you've had a decent relationship, I believe, with Baker Mayfield, and unlike me, you've never been called a Baker Mayfield hater. So what do you make of the way he has handled himself on social media in the last few months, and what do you make of where he's going to end up in the next couple of months?
I love it, Bull, because I've been called both. I've been called a Baker Mayfield apologist, and I've been called a Baker Mayfield hater. So
that's how we know you're right down the middle.
That's how you know you're doing your job.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's just how everybody in the AFC North thinks that I favor one of the other four teams.
Of course, yeah.
So I had multiple conversations with several teams leading up to the draft, and I will tell you that uniformly, every team I spoke to felt that Baker Mayfield was a better quarterback than any quarterback in the draft at that moment, and that Baker Mayfield, to his credit, had demonstrated success in the National Football League. And this is what's so important, right? We can project an athlete who comes out of college, but until he actually does it in the league, do we really know if he can? And Baker Mayfield, we know he can. We know what he was able to do in that 2020 season. We knew how the season progressed, how much better he got. And we also know the scope of the injuries that he was dealing with a year ago, and also the psychological piece of feeling like you're playing for a contract. And Bull, you and I have talked about this a lot. When you're playing for a contract, you can either be Bud Dupree, where you are raising your level and you are saying, okay, I am playing for my payday, or you get really tight and you get nervous. And it's, oh my goodness, I can't do anything wrong because I'm playing for that payday.
That's right.
So the thing with Baker, unfortunately, is that $18 million price tag, which, if you think about it, for a starting quarterback in the National Football League is not a lot of money.
No.
But teams that are looking for another quarterback, like let's say, for instance, the Carolina Panthers, are already paying somebody else that money.
Right.
And while you might be a general manager or a head coach who can kind of sit here and rationally think about it, you're always having to face ownership. And ownership might say, well, I don't want to pay this quarterback $20-something million to sit on the bench and pay the starter $18 million.
Especially when Baker's got 1 year.
Right.
Exactly. Ownership might say, well, this is a former first-round pick. I want to get as much as I possibly can out of this player, even if the market isn't necessarily there. So you're responding to a lot of different masters right there. I think the most important thing for Baker, so I think that from my conversations with the Browns, they're not feeling hard-pressed that we need to move him right now. Because whatever the national narrative is, Baker Mayfield is not a bad teammate. Baker Mayfield is not a bad human being, and Baker Mayfield is not a cancer. And Baker Mayfield is smart enough that if his best play is to show up to training camp, show that he is indeed a grown-up, show that he is indeed out there competing and ready to play, and is not looking to create any sort of fiction in a locker room, that only increases his value.
But has he been a grown-up?
Manager, why would you want to give him away? He's not going to give him away. Some quarterback might get hurt during training camp.
But has he shown?
Some team is going to be more needy at some point. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, I'm cutting you off. It's my fault. But I don't buy his maturity. I think you're right. It's been overplayed, the cancer in the locker room. G and I have heard from a couple of defensive players did sour on him, but I do think a lot of the offensive players are good with him. But I think he shows a lot of immaturity, especially off the field with what he says publicly, the fights he gets into with media members. I think he looks stupid a lot of times.
Okay, and that's fair, but don't we all get a chance to grow up?
But let's think this. But has
25, 26-year-old young man,
I was an idiot.
I'm so glad that at 26, I'm not in the national space right now.
Right.
And when come on, let's be honest. I'm the mother of 2 children. I've crossed 40, and I grew up in the past year. I've grown up in the last month, I hope, since I left my job. And so we have to give Baker Mayfield the opportunity, recognizing that much of the perception is a little bit overblown, is a little bit exaggerated. And I will tell you this, anybody who's interested in Baker Mayfield can call Kevin Stefanski and get the true story. Kevin Stefanski is not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything, and he's not going to lie.
What would he
say? Because he knows that 2 years from now, he may be calling somebody else.
Aditi,
so if you're really interested, you can get the honest story from Kevin Stefanski.
Well, this is, I wanted to pitch you against some of the other AFC North teams. You said that everyone thinks that they have you have a little bit of a bias here. So let's get to this. If you have to rank the AFC quarterbacks. There we go. There it is. They see
AFC North.
The AFC North quarterbacks, right? See, these guys with fluff stuff. I want to come into the hard hitting stuff.
No, we're Brown stuff. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Can you rank?
Underneath there, right?
Can you rank for me 1 to 4 in the division the top 4 starting quarterbacks in the AFC North?
Joe Burrow.
Wow.
Fair.
Number 1.
That's one.
Lamar Jackson is healthy. I don't know what Deshaun is. I don't know what Deshaun is yet. And I also don't know what Deshaun's availability is. And to me, the single most important thing is availability. Okay? If you're sitting on the bench, you're useless to me. If you're sitting at home, you're useless to me. So do I think that Lamar Jackson brings some unbelievable dynamic athleticism? Yeah. Is he available? Is he healthy? What is he giving me? So that's a little bit of a question to me. Deshaun Watson, again, the question is I haven't seen him play in a year. I don't know what he's going to do in Kevin Stefanski's offense, and I don't know how much I have him. So that's why Joe Burrow, above all, right now, that's the easy number 1. Number 4, let's go this way, right? You ever write a story, Jay, where you start at the top? And you finish it,
right?
I'm following your logic.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Number 4, I'm really excited to see. I think that Mitch Trubisky starts the season, not Kenny Pickett.
I think we do
and
too.
I am really eager to see what Mitch Trubisky does with good coaching and after a year with Brian Daboll. And let me tell you that I love the Bills organization. I love the coaching there, and I completely trust Brian Daboll. And he has told me that I will love Mitch Trubisky, that Mitch Trubisky was never given a fair shake or great opportunity in Chicago. I can tell you this, that inside the Steelers locker room right now, guys love him. They are responding to him, that he is approaching the playbook in every way you want him to approach it. But based on pure sheer talent, I don't know that he matches up with Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, he's
a 4.
I would actually put Baker fourth, and then
I thought you were going to say that.
Well, Baker's not your starter. Deshaun's
that's
your starter.
True, but
I did not hear the name Jacoby Brissett anywhere. Did anyone hear her say Jacoby Brissett?
Jacoby Brissett, Aditi, where are we putting him? 8th?
I hope he is not watching this while we all laugh.
Yeah, he hates us all.
The name of our probable starting quarterback on week 1.
Do you realize this? We are getting off this show, and every single one of us is going to be blocked on Twitter by all of these people.
Yeah, well, okay, that's the reality. It probably will happen. Aditi, I want to go back to the Browns because this is something that we've debated the first couple days on our show, and I'm really anxious to get your take on this. I believe that and I'm told I'm crazy by everybody I pitch this to. I'm not saying that I believe this is going to happen, but I believe there is a scenario in which Baker Mayfield does start the season at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. You won't be the first to tell me I'm crazy, but I'm anxious to hear your reaction to that. Am I nuts? Is it possible?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible, right, Jay? But I don't see it. I don't
think it's highly unlikely. See, my thing is, you said something earlier that I want to go back to. They're not going to give Baker Mayfield away. They're not.
Right.
And we don't know the timeline of the suspension. Is it going to be announced before the season? We don't know. Nobody knows. If the Browns are faced with, let's just throw any number out there, 4 games, 8 games, I think it's more likely if the suspension is going to be for 8 games. If they're going to be on the hook for Baker Mayfield for $18 million, and it could end up that way even if they release him, it just seems to me that he's a better option than Jacoby Brissett, and it can be one of those situations where I know it's strange bedfellows, but the Browns need Baker, and you made this point, Baker needs the Browns. He needs an audition. He needs to prove, not that he can play, he's done that. Mm-hmm. He needs to prove, to your point, that he can be an adult in the room.
Yes, but I just don't see it happening. And again, I just think that it's a recognition that everybody could use a fresh, clean break right now. And the other point I'd make, Jay, is I think your offense changes for Deshaun Watson some. And I think that Jacoby Brissett and Josh Dobbs, because of how bright he
is,
that's
a good point.
What he needs to learn, you move forward with that offense. And I think that with Baker, you do something different. So do you really want to do that? And do you really want to adjust midstream? I think you're better off sticking with your offense and doing what you want to do and having the other 10 guys on the field do what you ultimately want to do, whether you have Deshaun out for 4 games or 6 games or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I just think it's better. It's a clean break. It's nice. Everybody leave on a high note. You know? Let Baker Mayfield move on and find a new home.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
Hey, I wanted to get your take on Jarvis Landry because this has been, obviously they cut him. There was a report that they had offered him a decent contract to come back. He's just kind of hanging out there. I still think the Browns could use him, especially in that locker room. I don't look at Amari Cooper as like a leader of the wide receiver group. I think Jarvis still could be. Do you think there's any chance he comes back, and are you concerned if he doesn't?
Not concerned, but I would love to believe that the door never closes. I mean, I am, this is where the bias comes in, like we sit here and we talk about what kind of shirt are you wearing and this, that, or the other. Yeah. But I love Jarvis Landry. I think that everything that Jarvis Landry brings to a team, beyond just his unbelievable toughness and his dependability and his reliability and the guy that you can always throw the ball to and he will catch it or he will make sure nobody else catches it. All of those things aside, I think that when you are a young team, you need certain personalities in your locker room to teach young players how to be pros, how to go about their job, what it means to be an NFL player. And to me, that carries so much value, and that's who Jarvis Landry is. So, I mean, again, I'll give you this. I had conversations with both members of the Ravens organization and the Steelers organization this past week. Are you bringing in Jarvis Landry? I love him in all caps. All caps. So, I mean, I would love to see him in a place that I would get to regularly see him, which means my backyard, I would hope. I'd love to see him in a place where he is valued and where every single attribute he brings matters. I think that everybody at this moment, whether it's him, whether it's you, Bull, whether it's me, we think about maximizing our value because we recognize we may not get to make money for the rest of our lives. And so Jarvis has to come to a spot where he decides what is he really comfortable with and what is he willing to take. And again, to his point, the same with Baker Mayfield. I don't think he has to feel some urgency right now that he needs to sign in the next week. He's allowed to take a little bit of time and see how much can he get out there and what's the best fit.
Aditi, if he goes to Pittsburgh and Mitch Trubisky and Jarvis Landry team up to kill the Browns for the next 5 years, isn't that the most Cleveland thing ever?
It would be kind of Cleveland.
Aditi, that's what happens. It would be just like Pittsburgh to move on from Ben, one Ohio guy that is 150-0 against the Browns, and replace him with the guy from Menor, Ohio, that now takes over the reins from Ben and and throws to Jarvis Landry for 12 touchdowns a year.
Don't let that happen.
Yeah, these are the things we have nightmares about.
Roethlisberger apparently is a little bit bitter at the Steelers right now. That's the local newspaper reporting. So maybe Ben is available. Would you rather have Ben?
Yeah, it's unreal.
We got to talk food with Aditi.
We got to.
We do?
Because Sam
is
Howell.
she a big foodie?
There was but here's the thing. It was Sam Howell, right?
Yeah.
Sam Howell of the Washington Commanders recently came out and said the only meat he eats is chicken.
That's it.
Which I thought was bizarre. Like, I've heard people say, I only eat fish. Some people don't like. I think you guys, maybe both of you said you don't like fish. Or
I
whatever.
don't eat seafood.
But
Pescatarian.
Aditi doesn't eat any meat.
No.
She's a vegetarian.
I've never seen you this upset.
Wow. Well, no, I'm not upset because I've known that about her. I mean, I guess I'm a little offended as a massive meat eater. But no, I've known this for a while. What was the toughest of the meats to give up, Aditi?
Well, there wasn't. See, my parents are vegetarians.
I didn't know you were always a vegetarian.
It was passed down to her like
I
a
didn't
curse.
realize that.
And then
That's how it happens.
I was in middle school and I read The Jungle by Upton Sinclair on
bad
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
And I thought, what do you mean bad move? It was okay.
You'd still be eating burgers if you didn't read Upton Sinclair.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, Prince Fielder is a vegetarian, and there are NFL players that are vegetarians, Adam.
Wait. Prince Fielder is like the fattest guy ever in baseball.
Well, he became a vegetarian.
Oh, maybe he's not fat anymore.
But he embraced
But he
it.
did.
To stay alive.
He absolutely did.
I didn't know that.
Aditi.
I believe Arian Foster is a vegetarian.
Look at
Yes,
that.
he is. And I'm not judging. I think, look, if that's your gig, then
She's healthy and in great shape.
Look at
Look
her.
at
She
me.
looks fantastic.
Forget it.
I
Is there
mean,
muscle
technically,
there?
Look at that.
technically,
She's got the
hey,
guns.
Guns
potato
out,
chips.
guns out.
Potato chips are vegetarian options, by the way.
Thank you. They are.
Before we let you go, for those that know you well and have followed your career, we all learned recently on your Twitter that you, after more than a decade at the NFL, and by the way, I'm not saying this because you're here. I've said this for a very long time, and I have friends that I know personally that are reporters at the NFL, and they're great. They're wonderful. I love Sarah Walsh. I think that you were the shining star of all of their reporters. I was, on one hand, stunned to hear that you were leaving, but also excited to hear what's next, because I have no doubt your what's next is going to be phenomenal. Is there any way you can tease us a little bit? Tell us anything at all about the future of your career, because we can't wait to see you again. I know we have you regularly here, which we're thrilled about, but I'm pretty sure that's not your primary next move.
What?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wait. Are you not pulling it? Are you telling me that I'm not getting paid what I thought I was getting paid?
No, whatever we told you you're getting paid, you're getting paid. But we can't wait. We know we're going to see you again.
Just like we all need to officially wait for the schedule release tonight, we are just going to have to wait a little bit longer for the next move.
Well played.
I will get this, though.
You get nothing.
I know how those work. I know how those things work. No, believe me, I get it, Aditi.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm hoping that I have enough time before the next move to learn how to play golf. Because I went out and I took my very first lesson yesterday, and I wore a Browns hat and a brown shirt while I did it.
Well, I've
here
been
in
trying
Pittsburgh.
to figure that game out for 55 years, so I hope your next move is sooner than 55 years, because you never master that sport. You just learn to love it and hate it at the same time.
I guess that's what it is. Yes. Yeah. No, you and my son, Jay, just so you know, my 6-year-old keeps coming home every day. Okay, Mommy, Mommy, where are you going to work? Mommy, what are you going to do? Mommy, are you still going to be on a football field? And I don't trust him. I just feel like he's got slips.
Yeah, he's going to spill it to the whole elementary school.
As long as he doesn't have social media yet, I think you're okay.
He'll be tweeting at Daryl Ryder.
Poor Daryl.
Aditi, this is going to be a lovely relationship. I'm glad to see you in Browns gear. Browns fans have grown to love you because you're so knowledgeable on the division, which we call home. Thank you so much for coming on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports
Love
Show.
you. You're
the
best.
Thank you.
All right, wait, but Jay, really quickly, let me just make a really quick plug. Next Wednesday, Browns.com is going to do interviews with every single rookie. So if you want to get to know your new Browns better, Nathan Zagura is interviewing every single brand new Browns player. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on Browns.com. And awesome. I'll actually be at the stadium with Kevin Stefanski for a chalk talk. So I don't know who's invited, but if you come hang out.
So you'll be in Cleveland next week?
I will.
So which day can we write your name and pen in on our schedule?
We'll get back on that one. I'll text you. Sorry, I got to go pick up somebody at preschool. Bye, guys.
Bye, Aditi.
We're never going to get a woman to visit us.
She will.
No, you know what? Mike walked in here yesterday, and he goes, "Yeah, starting to smell like a locker room."
So it smells like dudes in here.
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
We have a woman. We do have one woman.
Yes, we absolutely
have one.
She needs to wear more like woman deodorant or something to balance us out because it smells like Old Spice.
It's hard. It's like 10
pH
versus 1
balance
right
for
now.
me.
Yeah, it's not pH balance in this room.
One thing that's not helping is his shoe boxes.
Yeah,
He's bringing into work every morning.
Hey, I got to listen. My shoebox is
What's
clean.
the internet?
How many days into the show before he runs out of sneakers?
I don't know. We're on day 4.
You got to wait and see. Hey, let's get to what the internet's talking about. First of all, Anthony P says Mike's energy is making me anxious.
That's my move.
Love that.
That's the vibe I'm going for.
Anxious in a good way.
Keep you on edge. Keep you on edge. What am I gonna do?
Smart Asses Magazine official says Aditi needs to be on 24/7, 52.
Sounds exhausting.
I'm a little obsessed.
A little bit much.
Slightly.
I love her. I think she's great.
She's the best, but
she is. She has to be able to take bathroom breaks.
That is almost like creepy. It's stalkerish right there.
I look at her all the time.
Yeah.
Bathroom breaks.
It's weird.
Yeah, some of these.
She can't sleep. She can't eat. She must always be on the screen.
We don't have to cross that out. Look, no.
Don't make that guy happy.
Shout out to the women are powerful in this chat today. Karen Phillips says Lamar basically has the same touchdown interception as Baker in 2021. People aren't talking about that.
No, he does. Yeah, that's why I say he took a step back.
We are in Cleveland, so we're not going to spend as much time.
No,
but we just mentioned it before that he had a bad year.
Right. We were talking about Lamar and his touchdowns.
I hate when people say that, though.
What was Baker, though, last year? 17 touchdowns, 12 picks?
They both were not very good. But the truth is, Jay, if we talked more about the Ravens, we'd have people saying, why are you talking about the Ravens so much?
We're going to talk about all the teams.
We didn't bring up
North.
Derek Carr's numbers either, but nobody cares about that.
He's not in the North.
Little Lions Den, so much interrupting. I find myself getting stressed out watching these guys, trying to get their points across.
If I could just stop you right there.
Let me just
Lions Den, bleep you.
You know what? Well, no. To that point, have you ever? I mean, has Lions Den ever been in a sports discussion with his buddies?
Or
do you tap out? Excuse me, I'm finished now. Ernest, you can make your point.
Yeah, I mean, who names himself after an animal? That's ridiculous.
That was a beautiful rebuttal.
If I could offer a retort,
Ken C says Aditi rocks. And Marty Comer says she is wearing Browns gear! Exclamation point.
Wow, several exclamation points.
Let's see. Yeah,
really wants to drive home that point.
And one more. Let's see. This is kind of crazy. We'll get a good one. Gosh, you guys are you're doing way much. Oh, Josh Stevens says the media is protecting the media. The local beat reporters should not be engaging in banter with players.
I think we both said that. Aditi said that, and I said that
Why do you
yesterday.
think they should not be engaging in banter with the players?
You should. I guess local media. See, I'm an opinion guy. I don't know.
We can do whatever the hell we want.
I don't know.
No, I think he's talking about on Twitter.
Yes, on Twitter.
That was my whole point. Why did Daryl do that?
But if a player ripped me on Twitter, I shouldn't engage.
I think you're more allowed because you're an opinion guy.
I'm
Daryl's trying to call the balls
and I said that
strikes.
yesterday. You're an opinion guy.
I don't
if
break
you're
stories.
a beat reporter You're burning the bridge to
Well,
the
it only
biggest
hurts him.
player on
It
the
only
team.
hurts himself. Daryl's awesome. He's a great guy. He tries hard.
I love Daryl. I
And
just wish he hadn't done that. That's all.
He probably does
I spoke
too.
to Daryl yesterday.
Yeah.
I think they'll
bury the
patch it
hatchet.
up.
They'll
I
patch
think
it
you're
up.
right, and I think Daryl will be the adult that brings
Yes,
this. Brings
he
them
is an
together.
adult, and Deshaun shouldn't have blocked him. There was no reason to block him. And
Do you guys want to hear
he
a
probably
weird-
got bad advice
Weird
from
Daryl
somebody.
Ryder trivia fact. I went to high school with him, and we were in the same graduating class.
With Daryl?
Same
no
thing.
kidding.
Isn't that weird?
You just kept that to yourself?
I mean, I've known you for 2 days. I'm not like, hey, let me tell you about Daryl.
Mike
burying
doesn't-
the
do
lead.
you even remember that you were on my radio show?
I do remember.
Yeah.
I remember one time.
Yes.
I had a good time.
How was
Yeah, we had a
Daryl
lot
in
of
high
fun.
school?
Yeah. What's that? He was Daryl. He was the exact same.
Yeah.
He's a great
He was
guy.
preparing for that job like he was scorekeeper at the basketball game. he covered the sports like he did exactly what you would expect.
Yeah.
No surprises out of Daryl. He didn't have an earring or anything. He's
Yeah.
exactly Daryl.
He is the biggest heart of anybody
is.
you're going to meet in this business.
Wonderful guy.
Really quickly, who's the most famous person that's blocked you?
I am not controversial, guys. I don't get into beefs on
Yeah.
Twitter. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Mike knows who have I ever pissed
I got
off in my whole life.
by who's the lead singer of the Raspberries? Anybody?
What? Really?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
When is it? All right, never mind. Oh, Eric Carmen, local boy. I got
Okay.
blocked by. He went real like QAnon, and
Oh,
I started
QAnon.
going at him a little bit. He didn't like that.
And you-
That was
I've been
mine.
blocked by Baker, by Trevor Bauer, and by Josh Gordon.
Not bad. Those are good.
Dang, he got
Nice trio right there.
It's a nice big
But
three.
look, I honestly, for a guy who's dished opinion for 11 years every single day, I'm surprised that that's the number.
Yeah.
Impressive.
You know,
I
I'm
know.
really
Yeah,
surprised.
and he tells people when they stink too. He's not just stroking
I'm not
everybody
afraid.
off.
By the way, if we get Austin Hedges on, I will admit that I said he's not a very good hitter.
I co-sign that.
Yeah.
But my issue was, and Mike, I hope this came through, I'm not always a super nice guy, but I
No.
do think that when you've reached a plateau of being a professional athlete, that comes with respect. And the
When I say
worst-
somebody sucks, I'm saying he sucks for a major leaguer.
okay, but I think that's harsh.
Of course it's harsh,
This is what
but
I
that's
love.
me.
It's
This
harsh.
is my note. This is what I love.
It's harsh.
No, you nailed it.
I'm not denying
love
it's
it.
harsh.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
a
wanna
little
say that-
mean.
I don't want to say a professional athlete.
It's a little
sucks.
mean.
He's trash.
I admit it's a little mean, and when I think about it, like, it's a little mean to
Yeah,
call
you
him
know,
that.
like,
But in the
maybe this
moment,
would be-
that's
let me
just how
help
I
him
am.
out. Let me help him
Yeah,
out. Maybe
yeah.
maybe it would say, you know, the Guardians can do better.
No.
The Guardians can do better.
Because
than
that wouldn't be me, Jay.
wouldn't
That
be
would
being
be
real.
me.
You.
That's
me.
me.
You do you. I'll do me.
I have
It's
to
working.
keep it.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
It is. It works.
I don't need to be friends with Austin Hedges. He'll
I
be
don't
gone.
want you to be
Yeah.
friends. I want you to be human. That's what I want.
No.
We're taking a break. When we come back, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Judge Jay is in the house. I saw him like 10 minutes ago.
All right.
I saw him 10 minutes ago.
Obviously, cereal is not soup. I mean, that's
So,
just the
yeah, we're going to debate that and some
Yeah.
other fun stuff. Judge Jay on the other side of this quick break on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
I got. Hey, it's Adam the Bull for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and I'll tell you what I think of when I think of Cleveland sports. It's that everybody loves it. I've been to other parts of the country, and there's people that love sports and people that don't care. But in Cleveland, everybody cares even a little bit from every walk of life, and that's what makes this city special. Whether it's football, baseball, or basketball, it doesn't matter. The people of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio love their teams like nowhere else in the country.
News you can trust should be news you can rely on.
And every night at 11 on What's Next, you can rely on us.
A new legal twist for Brown.
Today also marks the beginning of
We're here, and we are going to continue.
So the Guardians have to play almost. You can rely on us to help you go to bed better informed with stories that prepare you for tomorrow.
And with news that's relevant to your life. We'll make sure that you're ready for what's next.
Because being ready for tomorrow is what matters most.
We face challenges every day, some bigger than others, and we never know what's around the corner.
Through the highs and the lows, whatever we face it together. Each morning on Go, we are here with the facts, because what impacts you impacts all of us.
And understanding those facts helps us to make informed decisions for our families, our communities, and our future.
We are here for you every step of the way. Go, weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
Cleveland sports to me is bigger than anything. It's bigger than some people's marriages. They say the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. No. Dallas is not America's team. Cleveland is America's team. And sports in Cleveland is a religion. It's a way of life. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter. Sports is a way for people in Cleveland to get together, and it's something that can't be replicated in Cleveland. Sports is a thing.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I am a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. I have carried my fandom every city I've ever lived in. People have always asked me, why are you so diehard about Cleveland? It's because I'm from here. And we know how much our teams mean to us. Most of us know that because of our parents. In my case, my father was just a huge Cleveland sports fan. It was really part of our life. It was woven into everything we did. And it was our connection throughout his life.
When you watch Front Row, you never have to ask what's going on in Cleveland.
It is our job to get you up to speed on the latest news and events so you can enjoy all our city has to offer. We are bright, bold, and all about the action.
Whether you're a diehard Browns fan, waiting on breaking news, or searching for a special event for a weekend away,
Our hometown has it all. So join us. We're waiting for you. Front Row, weeknights at 7.
seeing, knowing, and understanding Northeast Ohio is something we take very seriously.
Because in our connected world, what happens in one community can have an impact on others,
leading to difficult challenges and opportunities for reflection and growth.
So, for in-depth analysis of how today's top stories affect you, your family, and our communities across Northeast Ohio,
join us for 3 News at 6.
So you know what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I'm a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. My favorite all-time Cleveland sports moment, you're not going to believe this, it was Rajay Davis's home run in Game 7 that tied the score.
My favorite Cleveland sports moment would have to be the Kyrie Irving 2016 shot. It's the only time that I've ever cried over any sporting event.
And my ultimate Cleveland memory is when the Cavs won the championship and the day of the parade. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Jay.
Oh, yeah.
You heard the bailiff. There he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
it's
where's
official.
the bailiff? The other day, the bailiff had a bulletproof vest on.
Yeah, it looked like a bomb jacket.
Why'd you lose that, Anthony?
I was told no for that.
That was a better call.
By the way, our
we
break
got overruled.
Our break was longer because I had to go to the bathroom. I couldn't wait till the end of the show.
He did a good hustle.
I couldn't make it 2 hours, but I moved as fast as I could.
Diapers.
All right,
We're getting diapers.
Welcome to the sports court. I am your judge, Judge Jay. I know you've been sworn. I've read your complaints. We've got 2 cases on the docket today. We actually might stretch it to 3, but we've got 2 real good debates, I believe. The first one's going to pit Bull against G. Bush. We want to know, do you prefer 1 o'clock kickoffs in the NFL, or do you prefer the night game so you can pregame? Do you like the 8:20 start? Who wants to start?
Go ahead, G. You start us
I'm going
off.
to start. First of all, I want to say as a black man, I'm very uncomfortable around a judge with these.
Totally.
I'm going directly to jail.
Yep.
Yeah, this wasn't a good time frame for you.
Jay is way too white right now.
Yeah.
That's that 1776. No. I want no parts of that. All right, we'll go to the game. We wasn't doing too good back then. I just had a flashback. I just
Your Honor would like to apologize for centuries of mistreatment.
For everything that happened.
If there was anything we could do to make that right.
Short of reparations. Short of reparations.
Hey, listen.
No, anything.
Tagna, go ahead and drop a couple extra dollars in that joint, right? But here's what we'll say. Everybody plans their life around them 1 o'clock games. Give me the daytime joint. You know why? Because I got a little bit of time to get over it before I need to go to work on Monday. And we 0-16 or in the last 16 years in terms of the first game of the season. If the Browns lose, guess what? I can take my Tylenol PM, eat my dinner, and go to sleep and get ready to go be at work talking to them in the water cooler about how trash we are. If the Browns win, I get a little bit of extra time to celebrate now, don't I? I get to move around. I might call this Chuck. Hey, Chuck, man. Yeah, them Browns are looking good, man. That boy, we Super Bowl. You could do all of that for about 5-6 hours. You can look around. You might every game after that is enjoyable. You watch the 4 game.
Yeah.
You watch the 8 game.
In a good mood.
In a great mood. You just breaking down the game. Yeah, see, they ain't got what we got. See, we get our backs involved. Look at that. That's why you need a 1 o'clock game. You get it over with. It's ready to roll. You can't be sitting around at 8 to wait for your game because now it's 12 o'clock, midnight. You want to wait till
Team
midnight?
1 o'clock came strong.
G, let me tell you something. First of all, the only two things that Clevelanders love almost as much as the Browns is drinking and fantasy football, correct?
That's
right?
true.
Those are very popular
I think
here
it's
in Cleveland.
drinking and drinking.
Well, maybe that. Okay, drinking, right? So here's the thing. The night game, you get to drink more. And then you are really tanked up for the game, having even a better time because you're more drunk. That's number one. Number two, if the Browns play at 1 o'clock, we are all so locked into the Browns game that I can't pay attention to my fantasy football team because there's 10 other games. But when the Browns play at 8 Sunday night, they play Thursday night, Monday night, I can be locked into the Browns game. And then at 1 o'clock, I can watch the Red Zone, or if you have the Sunday ticket, I can bounce around from game to game and stay up on my fantasy team. The number one reason why, one of the main reasons why the NFL is so popular is because it's the easiest sport to gamble on, and people love playing fantasy football. I would say 3/4 of football fans, especially those 50 and under, play fantasy football. And you could pretend that you only want to watch the Browns. That's bogus. You want to watch the Browns, and you want to watch your fantasy team. And having all the biggest window, 1 o'clock with the most games, I want to be able to watch all my fantasy games. And as you said, if you win, it's great. But the Browns, in their recent history, have done a lot more losing than winning. So then you're miserable all of Sunday, and you don't want to be miserable on your day off.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's why you have sleeping medicine on deck.
So you just knock yourself
Yeah,
unconscious when the Browns lose.
I take it at the third quarter.
That's your defense
Put
mechanism.
yourself to sleep.
It's called the Browns amnesia pill.
Yeah.
All right, before I make my ruling, I'd like to consult our one-person jury
Mike?
here.
I will
are you
mention-
leaning one side or the other?
Look, I think they both make very strong points. I was about to make the same point that you did. Nothing ruins a day like watching a Browns game at 1, watching them get murdered, and that ruins football for the rest of
Yes.
the day.
It does, yeah.
You're right. If they do win, you want to keep watching football. It's exciting. But you can't be excited about football after watching your team lose, and then the rest of your football day is ruined. And that's why, at least if they're playing later and I don't get to watch them lose, you still have anticipation and hope that they might win so you can enjoy the other football games. And that is, I will make that point, and I agree with Bull on that.
Salient points all. I will say, to counter your argument, the only bad thing about the 8:20 kick is, yes, you've had all day to juice up in pregame. But mostly, we've experienced losses in those games. Mostly we've experienced losses in the 1 o'clock games, too. I think it's so much more difficult. I've made that walk of shame out of the stadium for a night game when you've probably had a few too many pops, and everything feels worse
You're emotional.
when you've had too
Dark and
many
dingy.
pops. So
Yeah.
it's dark and dingy. But however, although I thought you made some good points as well, I think 1 o'clock is just a little too early. I love, personally, the 4 o'clock kickoffs. I can
Splitting the
watch
difference.
all of my
I like
fantasy
the 4.
games and players
Right.
at 1 o'clock.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then if you're in the 4 o'clock game, it's a national game in
Yeah.
mostly. They put the big games in that 4 o'clock slot.
I like that.
So I'm going to make my ruling, and this is probably the only time that I will do this. I don't believe there's a right or wrong answer. You could play an NFL game Tuesday at 3 in the morning.
I'm in.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Now, you're shaking your head in disapproval.
I just want to know how you even got appointed to this position if you're unwilling to make the tough choices.
Well, it is.
I mean,
it is
this is what's
questionable.
wrong with the judiciary right here.
This is a lifetime appointment.
I know, that's
It
the other
is.
thing.
It
You know,
is.
and he's in great shape. That guy's, he's got another 40 years of not making decisions.
I will
and being
I'll
on
tell
the
you,
fence.
this is probably the
Jay
only
Bader
time.
Ginsburg.
That's really what it is. Retired.
This is the only time I will ever not make
All
a
right.
firm ruling.
You heard him.
Because when I first heard this question, I thought, my goodness, I don't care when it is, where it is. It's the NFL. I'm in. Okay, let's go to Mikey
Jay, before
McNuggets.
you move on,
okay,
real
yes,
quick.
absolutely.
I think this also reminds me that we need to have an Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show Fantasy Football League.
And it is done.
Wow.
Yeah, can the court
That's
reporter
official.
please put that into the record?
Go. That's going to be fun. A lot of trash talking.
Well, all I need to know is what's the wager.
Well, we'll figure that part out.
And the
but
team name, the league name. We'd have to have a good league name too. But I love that idea.
Love it. Let's do
that
it.
idea. Okay, let's go to Mikey McNuggets for our second topic. What is our
Mikey.
second topic on the docket today?
Before I give you the second topic, I want to read one YouTube comment. This is from Rob Hampton,
Okay.
who says Garrett needs Abe Lincoln as his lawyer.
Rail splitter.
Shout out to the YouTube chat. Keep the comments
The judge not
good.
only allows that, but he encourages that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bring him
Okay,
back from the dead.
what is our second topic?
We put a tweet out last night asking for submissions. This was a viewer submission question from @EmmaHendersonTV. She asked, is cereal a soup?
We know her.
Yeah, she's one of our reporters at WKYC.
That's our girl.
Channel 3.
Yeah.
Wow, she's going to be thrilled that we picked her questions because I saw a lot of the questions were very good.
We added them all to the list. We will get to them. We promise we will
so
get to them.
So there's like a holding folder for that. For future
we have
episodes of
31
Judge Jay.
questions currently on the list.
Okay, so here is the way the docket lines up on that. That is going to be Bull versus Mike.
Yeah.
So, Mike, would you like to start?
I prefer not.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah,
there is an advantage to go last.
There is, but this is absurd. There is no argument here, Your Honor. Of course, cereal is not soup. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. In fact, I'll steal this from Mike because he used a dictionary definition.
Sure.
I didn't print mine up. But in the dictionary definition of soup, it says a broth or water. And in cereal, you don't use broth. You got the definition?
I might. Go ahead.
You don't, there's no, it's not a broth, it's not a water. Soups are usually hot. They usually got meats or vegetables in there. And cereal has none of those things. It doesn't have a broth, it doesn't have water, it doesn't have meat or vegetables, and it doesn't have, what did I forget? Well, I got everything.
That's
everything. It doesn't have
everything.
any of those things, and it's cold. It's not soup.
Counsel, that is a very solid argument. I will tell you, Mike, before you go, you're facing an uphill climb.
This is like the Scopes monkey trial in here, and you guys, yep.
Yes, it is.
I know what I'm up against. And when I was assigned this argument, I was on your side, frankly. I really was. I was like, how can I do this? I mean, what am I going to do?
So you're not married to this argument?
No, I wasn't. But then I started doing some research.
I don't like this.
Now, first of all, the definition, to be clear, is a liquid food, especially with a meat, fish, or vegetable stock. Especially with, not essentially with. Exclusively with.
Yes.
As a base and often containing pieces of solid food. I mean, here's the thing. You're right. We can parse this language, but what we got here is we have a cream-based soup. There are cold soups. Let's look at gazpacho.
That shouldn't be cold. That's disgusting.
I'm not saying it's good.
But
I'm just saying technically
it is a thing,
and it is considered a soup. Next, you got a cream-based soup, which is just like pretty much like a bisque or something like that,
absolutely.
really. And what do you have in there? You got grains. You know, grains is really what we're looking at here. And oats. You got corn, which is, what's a cornflake? It's made out of corn. What's a corn chowder? A corn chowder is corn with a cream-based soup in it.
But that's actual corn.
It is actual corn, but the form of it is like.
You think there's actually really corn in cornflakes?
Yeah, I think so. Legally, they probably have to. So what I'm saying is, though, you're right. I don't want cereal to be a soup. I don't want to live in a world where cereal is a soup, but we don't get to choose the world that we live in. And technically, based on the definition, for example, if you were to say to me, hey, what's your favorite fruit? And I were to tell you that it's tomato, you'd think I was a crazy person. But technically, a tomato is a fruit. Okay, so I don't like that. We don't treat it as a fruit. It shouldn't be. It's wrong, but it is a fruit. We can't ignore classifications just because they don't fit our preconceived conceptions of what food is supposed to be.
But based on that analysis, a bowl of urine with corn in it would be soup.
Technically, it would.
Take that last remark from the record. I can never hear that kind of language in this courtroom again.
I think we should.
Unless you want to see me projectile vomit.
Right.
And that would be soup.
I'm ready to hold you in contempt.
Your vomit would be soup.
Stand down, counsel.
Hey, listen.
You can't handle the truth.
Listen, John Quincy Adams is right.
We shouldn't even give John Adams. Wait, he had to be Quincy.
Order in my courtroom.
Your Honor,
I don't appreciate the talk of urine in food.
In summation, Your Honor, whether we like it or not, and believe me, I don't want this to be considered a soup. Cereal is a soup based on definition, in my opinion.
Strong argument. Let's go to the one-man jury. G Money, this is you. G Bush, do you agree with Bull or are you siding with Mike?
Let's go to the African American jury. Do you guys like rap music?
Love it.
Here, it's going to get awkward.
Old rap music.
Oh, well,
old
school.
Yeah, I'm with you too.
Well,
give me Dre, Snoop.
I'm biased. I'm going with Bull. It's not a soup.
Yeah.
There it is.
Wow. Okay. I'm ready to make my ruling. I have to say that there are times when you sit on the bench that you have to make rulings that in your heart you disagree with.
Oh, there we go.
In your heart you know that this is not the right thing. But we also, as judges, have to follow
tough choices.
The
Precedent.
Constitution of
whatever
humanity.
I say
of the show.
And before I heard the case, and this just will prove that I will hear everything with an open mind. Before I heard the case, I was solidly, counsel, on your side that no, cereal is not a soup. But I thought Counselor Polk brought some very, very good arguments to the table.
He brought no good arguments.
Most importantly, he did not invoke urine.
That's true.
In my food.
Fair.
Yep. And so even if I wanted to
your
rule
judge
in your favor,
that you're going in front of,
I cannot. So my ruling in this case is Counselor Polk, you win the case. As much as I hate to admit it, cereal is soup.
And you also win the championship belt for the day.
Oh my
gosh! Listen,
the people's champ.
The people's champ. This is the color of technically.
I'm heartbroken.
By the way, yeah, you should have won, but they rigged it. It was a hung jury.
It's a ridiculous
My
decision.
man won
I've
that.
never felt so confident.
Champion for the day. There you go. There you go.
I don't do well, just so you know, I don't do well with urine talk.
I've noticed that.
I knew that going
as
in.
it pertains to being in food.
Sure.
I got a real phobia.
We all have our weird things.
Mike, do you want to go? Can we get Mikey McNugget's camera, Stevie director? Do you want to go to the top 5 out of this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, because I know that our clock is always a little upside down. And we did have to take an extended 4-minute break so Bull could relieve himself.
Go to the bathroom.
Evacuate himself.
Okay,
top 5 urine meals? Is that going to
be? Please don't.
Oh, God.
Okay, Mikey McNuggets, let's do today's top 5.
Today's top 5 stadiums that I have not been to that I want to go to watch a game.
Oh,
okay.
Good list.
Okay.
Number 5, bit of a homer pick, but true. First Energy Stadium. I want to sit in the dog pound, watch a Browns-Steelers game.
Yeah, he hasn't been there yet.
No, he's the only one that hasn't been here. I feel like we can't even argue with this list because it's his.
We don't know. Right.
I'll still yell at him.
Let's be honest about First Energy Stadium. The only reason you'd want to go is because it's your team.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about
dog
it.
pound they're great, but it's still a watered down version of what
the
old dog pound is.
No knife fights. Nobody's bringing in a keg anymore.
And NFL stadiums in general are not exciting on their own for the most part.
Yeah,
you know?
I love college stadiums.
Baseball and college football stadiums are the exciting
What do you have at number 4, Mikey?
Churchill Downs. I know it's a different kind of stadium, but I would love to go to Churchill Downs for a Kentucky Derby. Really see anything there.
Yeah, no, I like what he's doing here.
I like that. It's a good. I've never been there. I'd like to go.
It's incredible.
You've been.
Especially if it's a sunny Saturday afternoon in May and you're in the infield. There's a lot of activity that goes on that infield.
You know how brainwashed I am by football and sponsorships now? When he said Churchill Downs, I thought we were just doing football stadiums.
Right.
I was like, is that a new chicken place that's sponsoring the Tampa Bay football team? I really thought that's what it was.
I don't know. Do brothers go to Churchill Downs?
Absolutely.
Brothers?
Are you kidding? Yes, absolutely.
Our producer Brianna, she says what? Yes. Okay.
Well, as Brianna will tell you, that's an event that you go to be seen. You wear the colorful clothes, the hats, the mint juleps. Bro, there's a lot of socializing. There's very little horse racing watching.
And let me tell you something,
2 minutes.
I used to go, when I was in my teens and my early 20s, I used to go to Belmont all the time. I went to the Belmont Stakes once. I used to go to all the tracks in the New York, New Jersey area, and eventually upstate New York area. And there's plenty of black guys there.
There you go. Yeah. If you guys say
it was a beautiful mix. It was a melting pot.
I wear my Easter suit, and I'm good.
You and I are going to go. Black, white, Latino, Asian. We're all going to go together. It's Jewish, Catholic. It's going to be beautiful.
Mikey, number 3.
Bull mentioned college football.
Yeah.
The horseshoe for an Ohio State Michigan game.
Oh,
Sorry,
absolutely. Yeah, you absolutely have to experience that. I mean, you're not even an Ohio State guy, but you got to admit that the atmosphere there is off the chain.
It's amazing. I've never been to an Ohio State Michigan game.
I've been to 3.
I've been to Ohio State.
Yeah, but
not an Ohio State.
It does go up a notch.
Oh my God!
Believe it or not. I mean, when you're there for Ball State.
The stadium. When I went to that stadium for the first time, I was flabbergasted because I went to a tiny Division III school, and to walk into this,
it's overwhelming.
It really was.
And most people from the Northeast think that college football is a rumor. It's not big there.
Yeah, I had no interest in college football as a kid.
Really, they don't. In New York area in particular, but really the Northeast. Yeah. Name the football powerhouse that plays in the Northeast.
Rutgers.
Well, look, as much as I'd like to say Rutgers, and if my son's watching,
College,
he's going to kill me
I guess
for
would
this.
be the best one.
They're not a college football powerhouse.
I would say Boston College is probably the best one.
BC's the one that comes to mind. Penn State, some try to throw Penn State in there, but I think Happy Valley's more Midwest than
I agree
Northeast.
with you, yeah.
Okay, Mikey McNuggets, number 2.
Cameron Indoor for a Duke UNC game.
Absolutely.
Never been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jay's been to all these cool things.
Now, do you think this is going to fall off because Coach K ain't there?
No, the crazies will continue. It's Duke. It's North Carolina's still crazy without Dean Smith, without Roy Williams. The tradition will definitely continue. But I don't know that's a fair question. I don't know if it will be at the same level.
Yeah.
Depends if they stay good, and I think Duke will stay good if I had to guess.
I feel like college basketball in general is really going down.
When the Big East
Kills
left,
me.
the Big East. By the way, we take a on your football, but
Yeah.
your basketball.
Oh, you own it.
When I was 13 years old, it was my second favorite sport, college basketball, behind baseball. Football was third for me.
Gosh.
I was an obsessed St. John's fan.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Chris Mullen,
Mark Jackson, Bill Wennington, all those guys.
and the stars that were in that conference at the time.
They used to beat the I don't know if you guys would know this, but like the Big East would play with 6 fouls while everybody else was playing with 5 in college.
Yes.
Really?
And
Yes.
so they'd go
Yeah.
to the NCAA tournament, and sometimes the teams would struggle with that.
Yeah.
I'm a kid that plays football
Yeah.
in Ohio. My favorite team growing up was
Georgetown.
Villanova.
Oh, Villanova?
No kidding.
Kerry Kittles was like,
yeah.
Well, you had the one year where they won the national title. They beat Georgetown.
Yeah, right.
Georgetown had beaten St. John's with Ewing, beaten Chris Mullen in the semis.
Man, those were great
Those
years.
were great days. And college basketball
Boeheim
now, it's
and
like
Syracuse. All right, your
Yeah.
number one stadium that you haven't been to, but you can't wait to experience.
Jay, I know you haven't been here for this one. The Coliseum. A little throwback.
No, you know what?
Out of the ordinary, but I would love to
Love
see
that.
something at the Coliseum.
I've been there. They just weren't playing a game when I was there.
That doesn't count.
You gonna get creative on us?
But, yeah, I didn't see that coming.
You
I didn't
gonna
see
get
that
creative,
coming.
dog.
It's a good answer.
You want
I
to
like that
It's a
one. I want to
different
see it
answer.
too.
want to see a Christian eaten by a lion? Is that what you'd like to see there?
something.
And
I want to
gladiator
see some
stands.
sort of activity.
You're lucky that place is standing, let alone still having a
It's a
sporting
miracle
event.
that it is standing. But
I
it
love
is-
that you were there too, of course.
Well, I went a couple years
everywhere,
ago.
this guy.
Listen. I'm not going to deny that. I'm a lucky
Yeah.
man, and there's a different feeling that you get when you walk in there. Like we walk in a building here that's 100 years old, and we're like, "Damn, I can't
Right.
believe this place is still around."
Right.
You walk into that, and you get goosebumps.
It's crazy.
all over. And then you think about the history of the building, and so
So good
historically,
list.
if you're going worldwide, I think that's an unconventional choice. But I'm not gonna.
No, it's good.
You know,
I
I'm
just-
not gonna
the only thing I
down
would say
that.
is, how do you not have Wrigley Field on that list if you've never been to Wrigley Field?
That is 6. I have not been to Wrigley. That's the first one that missed the cut, and I will go to Wrigley this year.
I'm
now
with
that
you,
so
Bull.
close.
I would have taken off one of those other ones.
Yeah.
Wrigley has to be in any sports.
It doesn't
fan's
matter
top
if you're a
5.
Cubs fan. It's just a great. If you're a baseball
That is a
fan,
great stadium.
Yeah.
you have to have that
Also,
experience.
he didn't have Death Valley on. You didn't have Death
I've
Valley.
been to Death Valley.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to explain to the viewers the reason Death Valley isn't on the list, particularly at night, is because he's been there. So, and the Big House. Have you been to Ann Arbor?
I've been to a bunch of SEC
tell you-
stadiums. I've never been to a ton of Big Ten football stadiums.
My Michigan hate will just pour out of my body right now, but that is the most overrated stadium I've ever seen. It's a toilet bowl.
Is that a ruling, Jay?
At
This is
ground
all so much
level
better with this outfit
benches. It's got benches all the way around.
You're
it.
annoying our executive producer.
EP
Michigan
Steve
man.
wants to kill me
Make
right
it official,
now.
Jay.
Yeah.
Rule on it. You have the gavel.
I've got the gavel.
Right. This
The Big House, most overrated stadium of all time.
makes it official.
So it is written, so it is done. We're going to go to break. The Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is coming right back. What's on the other side, Mikey? Take us to break.
We're talking Darius Garland
Darius
and
Garland.
good bet, bad bet.
Yeah, good bet, bad bet,
Nice.
Darius Garland, and I've got to get this awful wig off.
Cleveland sports to me is bigger than anything. It's bigger than some people's marriages. They say the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. No. Dallas is not America's team. Cleveland is America's team. And sports in Cleveland is a religion. It's a way of life. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter. Sports is a way for people in Cleveland to get together, and it's something that can't be replicated in Cleveland. Sports is a thing.
Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter to you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
News you can trust should be news you can rely on.
And every night at 11 on What's Next, you can rely on us.
A new legal twist for Brown.
Today also marks the beginning of
We're here, and we are going to continue.
So the Guardians have to play almost.
You can rely on us to help you go to bed better informed with stories that prepare you for tomorrow.
And with news that's relevant to your life. We'll make sure that you're ready for what's next.
Because being ready for tomorrow is what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I am a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. I have carried my fandom every city I've ever lived in. People have always asked me, why are you so diehard about Cleveland? It's because I'm from here. and we know how much our teams mean to us. Most of us know that because of our parents. In my case, my father was just a huge Cleveland sports fan. It was really part of our life. It was woven into everything we did, and it was our connection throughout his life. To do what the internet's saying here, we're back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Let's check it out. Let's check it out.
G. Bush.
Let's talk about it.
Are we getting killed for the Judge Jay?
Does anybody agree that cereal soup?
No.
I don't even think Mike really believes
it was an uncomfortable argument for me to have to make. It really was. But
let's see. Oh, listen. Let's see. Smartasses Magazine official says Lambeau is a good one too.
Oh yeah, Lambeau.
We've now read 2 tweets by some guy named Smartass whatever.
Yeah, Talking and Grubbin says.
Talking and Grubbin.
Does anybody have a name on there?
Is there like a Dan?
No one has regular screen names anymore. Yeah. It's like jump off 25-17 or something. And Willie Johnson says no. The Ravens are not scrubs, but we keep making it as if Lamar Jackson has won a Super Bowl or has gotten the Ravens to multiple AFC Championship games. Okay, well, it looks like he's going back and forth with someone.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Look how much we're involving these people, though. Isn't it great that we're letting you be heard?
Yeah.
You keep reaching out to us, and you can get on.
Like Slam Bam 18.
Because we have to fill 2 hours.
So
we'll read anything you send us.
Smartass has got on twice.
Right, look, right? Rob O'Hara, you guys are spamming too. You guys are like, I'm going to be in there every second. Rob O'Hara says, where are all the baseball parks, right? Where are in your top 5
that's
list,
a failure
right?
by Mike.
Mike, are you a big baseball fan?
I like baseball, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not your thing, is it?
It is my 3rd favorite sport.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense. All right.
And last one. Mick the Dog says, I went to the big house. I was not overly impressed.
No.
See?
I mean, it's really, and I know it comes across.
Grant agrees.
Comes across as it's Michigan hate because I'm a diehard Buckeye, but
you're allowed to hate that building.
When I got there, I was so disappointed because first of all, like I said, you walk in and you're at the top of the stadium.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like the top of the stadium is at ground level. And
Isn't that Notre Dame as well?
No, Notre Dame has some stands that go up, but at Michigan you come in and then everything falls down.
Right. He left out Notre Dame, though, by the way. We didn't even think about that.
Their stadium is weak, too.
Is it?
The best part...
But there's something iconic about it.
It's got the history in it.
I mean, as a Jew, I'm a little uncomfortable going there, but still.
Unofficial visits is like, you're kind of on the fringe list. We don't really want you, but in case 6 other people don't decide to come, you can come. So you get to go to all the best games. So I've been to Ohio State, Michigan, at Ohio State. I've been in Ohio State, Michigan, at Michigan. I've been to Notre Dame. I've been to Tennessee.
Tennessee's great.
Tennessee's great. To me, if you want to count the best, Camp Randall is kind of weird. It's old.
The crowd makes Camp Randall.
Yeah.
It's not.
Listen,
it's not.
You guys can ramble on all you want. Let me tell you, until you've been to Special Olympic Stadium in Brockport, New York, you haven't lived.
Parma.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
Say that.
Sure.
It is now.
Hundreds of people for every football game.
All right. Thanks for the comments there. Keep them coming. We'll try to read as many as we can throughout the program. All right. Help me here, Mikey McNuggets. My notes got lost in the judge.
Guys, can I just say
Darius Garland?
Let me just say this about Darius Garland. I love Darius Garland. I'm a huge fan of this guy. Everything I like about him. He is a leader. Mm-hmm. He is not afraid. I love people that are not afraid to admit they have things to learn, right?
Yeah.
Too often in sports, too often in our business, people are afraid to admit they don't know everything, right? And Darius Garland, as part of this GQ article, has said, hey, I kind of needed to mature. I needed to grow as a player. I needed to grow as a leader. I learned from Kevin Love. I learned from Ricky Rubio. I learned from Rajon Rondo. Some guys have such big egos, they couldn't admit things like that. This guy's a great player. By all accounts, a great person. He's extremely likable. He brings, Mobley might be the best talent on this team in the long term.
He's the building block.
Right? But Garland, I believe, is the heart and soul of this team.
Yeah, and you know what? I think time is going to prove that to be exactly the case. I do think that if I had to put off-limits tags on these guys, I'm keeping Mobley. And there's no way I'm ever having a conversation about him.
Yes.
I don't want Garland to go anywhere. I like Sexton. But I think that if I had to pick between the two, it's Mobley. But to our jumping off point on this discussion was the GQ article.
Right.
He said all the right things.
Yeah.
To exactly what Bull said. Here's one quote that this was probably of the 4 we've picked. This is my favorite one. We're a young team. We're fun to watch. It's a lot of exciting basketball. Threes, alley-oop dunks. Why not invest in us? We can only get better. Here's my favorite part. We young and we lit. And I think that hits it, man. They were more fun to watch than the LeBron Cavs teams when they were winning 60 games a year, in my view.
I agree. When you watched it, I had to start doing Cavs lives.
I mean, let's not get carried away. That team won an NBA title.
But
this team was more fun to watch.
But here's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, we used to do shows during that time.
Yeah.
We got to the point with the old Cavs where it was like, we only care about the Warriors on Christmas Day
you're right,
and the playoffs.
But I had a lot of fun watching them win a title.
But the regular season was boring.
Regular season sucked.
Foregone conclusion.
So
right?
it's just like, when is this going to be over? How many more games are
Forget
there?
the regular season. The first couple of rounds of the playoffs were boring.
Yeah.
Until the finals,
It's like,
it was
come on,
boring. I
Pacers.
agree.
Get out of the way,
But nothing beats the finals. Those
Wizards.
final series.
No. But this team, I had to start saying, listen, I might have to cover these dudes. These dudes is fun. They're energetic.
Yeah.
And on top of it, they like each other.
And they're likable.
That's the key.
To that point, guys,
That's it.
That's the exact point, G. Think about this. As fans, don't we? You know, it doesn't always matter. We want
much
the
easier to
players,
root.
yes, when they're likable and when you think they like each other, it makes you feel good inside. When the best players, and these guys, most of them are pretty young. I think Kevin Love, who I would been crushing for a couple of years, did a nice job changing his attitude
and his role,
fitting in, and his role, and fitting in. It's clear these guys love each other.
Compare that to the Lakers. You know what I
God.
mean?
Well, they're the antithesis.
Right, they hate each other.
Yeah, they
And
look
by the
like
way,
they're just
that's a
meeting for the
LeBron
first
team.
time.
Yes.
That's why, to your point, it's a foregone conclusion the Cavs are going to win. We knew that in the regular season. I think it's more fun to watch a game that you're not supposed to win, but you do because of heart, grit, and effort than it is to watch a team win in the regular season by 30.
Agreed,
and they're
in the
doing
regular
the photo
season.
poses. That's fun, but
Right.
if you lose, it's a disaster. Where
Expectations
when this
is
team
a
lost,
thing.
you're like, that's okay.
Right.
We're young,
Right,
we're
right,
learning. But God, they were fun.
They were fun while it lasted. Now, here's the thing. How does that continue? Because next year, I'm not going to be talking about no playing games. I need you.
They gotta win a series.
Set the bar now.
I need you firmly in the playoffs, and you got to win a series.
They got to win a series next year.
How do they handle this
Expectations.
psychologically?
Yes.
No, that's a good point because in the NBA, it's all about steps.
Nobody's expecting
Nobody
anything.
goes from not a playoff team to NBA champion.
rare, yeah,
There
yeah.
are steps that need to be taken, and next year this team needs to, I think, not just make the playoffs. They were solidly positioned to host a first-round playoff, and they fell apart the second half. I think they're young; they'll learn from that.
Injuries didn't help, but that's not an excuse. But the injuries
also, it's
did
a
not
marathon, not a sprint.
And the East is tough, guys. I mean, you
Yeah.
look for so many years, top to bottom in the playoffs, the West has been better. But that's finally flipped.
No, I think you're right.
And maybe the top of the West is still better, but like 1 through 10 is better in the East.
Let's
overall.
get to more from Garland
Yeah.
because as you read this article, you like him more with each paragraph.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I already love the kid. Then you read another paragraph. So he also was talking about why they are the right fit. He says it's just culture. It's a big melting pot. Everyone gets along with everyone. A lot of people say it's gloomy here all the time, but it's gloomy in New York too right now. I loved when he said that because, okay, I know New York has so much more to offer than Cleveland culturally and the experience.
Agree to disagree.
But the weather, you can. But the weather, okay, so it is gloomy in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I lived in the Northeast for 15 years. It's no picnic there either. It's not South Beach.
As someone who grew up, born and raised in New York, here's the difference. The summers are better here.
No question.
And spring is better in New York.
Why?
The spring, there's more of a spring there than there is here.
Yeah, I did find that.
Winter sucks in both places, and fall is nice in both places. So overall, I would
It's
call
a
the
wash.
weather equal.
Yeah.
Because the summer, it's much muggier there in the summer generally than it is here.
Well, you'd probably agree.
Yeah.
You living here is a much better way of life than in New York.
100%.
Kids, groceries. I got to take the subway.
Price of everything.
Price of everything is up here. You could go down, and for the most part, Ohio and Cleveland is great. There's no earthquakes. There's not very many tornadoes like the rest of the Midwest.
Yeah, we're safe.
You don't have hurricanes.
No mudslides.
Bunch of fresh water right above us for when everyone else runs out.
Gee, I get the sense Jay kind of doesn't like New York a lot, and that's fine. I love New York. It's where I'm born and raised. But I love Cleveland, too. This is where my son was born and raised, okay? He only knows Cleveland. He even has the Cleveland accent.
What's home to you now? I always like asking this question.
I consider myself a mutt.
Yeah.
I'm a mutt. I'm half New Yorker, half Clevelander.
Yeah, and that's
how
answer.
I feel. I'm still a New Yorker in some ways, but I don't have any desire to move back to New York.
This has become home for you.
It has.
Clearly.
If I did move somewhere else, it would be somewhere warm when I'm old or whatever. Yeah. I'm not moving back to New York. There's really nothing I miss, and I certainly don't miss the traffic. There's no real traffic here. I
laugh when people talk about the heavy traffic in Cleveland. I'm like,
there's no traffic here. The traffic here is predictable.
Yeah, you know when it's going to be bad.
Right.
And there's ways
and
around
you know how to avoid it.
All
New York,
70 of us are getting
bad.
on the highway at the same time.
Exactly.
and then it's over.
Dude, there were times I would do overnight shifts working in New York. There would be time, or late night, I'd be done at 2 in the morning. There would be times I'd be going through the Holland Tunnel, sitting in traffic at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Not uncommon.
You never know.
Back to Darius Garland.
Yeah.
Do you think he's a guy? Kyrie Irving was a guy. We talked about this in the pre-game meeting. Kyrie Irving was a guy who said, "Oh, I loved it here too. Love it." There's that infamous clip of people saying, "Kyrie, are you ever going to leave us like LeBron?" Now, LeBron came and left twice.
Yeah.
Kyrie rolled out, and then
he meant it.
Kyrie's a different. First of all,
did.
to be fair to Kyrie, who I'm obviously these days not a big fan of, maybe at the time he meant it. People change, whatever. But Darius Garland, at least it seems to me, I don't know either of them personally, seems to me is a very different cat.
Very
than
different
Kyrie Irving.
And one of the reasons that I love him the most, read a little bit about him again last night, and he, like Mobley, is also a nerd. A quiet, nice
That's why I
nerd.
love Myles Garrett, too. He's a nerd also.
He's a nerd as well. He's got, SpongeBob socks on.
He loves dinosaurs.
Loves dinosaurs. I want my players, my stars, to be nerds. His dad was a player in the NBA. Garland's was.
Yeah.
So he taught him and stuff like
Pedigree.
that. And it's that pedigree and that sort of discipline, and he just says the right things.
It's my wife's favorite player. We were in a restaurant. Garland walks into the restaurant.
Oh, wow.
She freaks out. but it's one of those foreign freaks out. She's just silent. So she's like, "That was Darius Garland." I wouldn't even have known he was in there. He just came in, sat out, chilled out, nothing.
You didn't notice by the hair? I mean, his hair's pretty.
He walked in like a church mouse. He was. I'm like, what are you talking about?
There was no entourage. None of that.
No entourage.
You were just
that.
You were trying to eat your Mr. Hero.
Yeah,
that's just trying to get through your Mr. Hero. Waffle fries
with the cheese. cheese. Always get the cheese.
Excuse me, Mr. Garland. Can I buy an order of cheese fries for you?
No, he's a great dude. He seems like he's happy to be here, and I love the combination of those two nerds who are under contract and young for so long.
Yeah.
Creating that culture right there. And since they're the stars too, your nerds are your stars. Everybody, even the people who might not be nerds, have to be cool with those nerds.
Jared Allen kind of seems like a nerd too.
He could go either way.
I think he's very nerdy.
I think he's very nerdy
and I'd say that in a good way.
I don't think that this has happened by accident. I mean, I think this is by blueprint. If you're looking for your NBA diva, you could use LeBron as the poster child for that set. He's more about the outside stuff than the game. I think the Cavs learned the lesson from that and said, we need to go after guys that are more about the game than the outside stuff. And they're doing it.
They don't appear to have any divas on this team.
No, and that's why it's working.
Isaac Okoro, he's not very. No, I ain't gonna say he's not very good. He's not on the level as athletic ability as the rest of these guys. He's not.
He fits a role.
But he's a nice
dude. Defense. He brings good defense.
He doesn't. No one's out there doing them. If you see these dudes in the street, right? Before we had Iman Shumpert. Now these guys are cool to watch, follow. Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith.
I come from a Ricky Davis day myself.
But yeah,
guys, let's take a look at some more quotes from Darius in the article, which I recommend that you read the whole thing. But here he says, "I meant a lot. It meant a lot to see the confidence from the front office in me, just knowing that if anything was to go wrong, they have my back. I'm there for Cleveland. I love the city of Cleveland. This was my favorite part. I love the people and organization. So it's cool just being there." Now, to your point, Bull, he might change his mind.
Right. I'm not saying he's going to.
But at a young age,
you love that.
For him to say that about, because we joke, Mike is the best in the world at joking about Cleveland, but I don't think anybody I know loves Cleveland more.
Oh yeah, no, I love
it. Your songs, the Factory of Sadness, Factory of Sadness, and
but he even if he doesn't mean everything that he's saying necessarily, he's still saying the right things.
Sure.
So, and if he knows to do that, And that's all you have to do in this town. We've all learned that. If you can negotiate your contract through the press by just saying, I love it here so much.
Throw us a bone.
Mr. Hero. Yeah. I love, I love everything about this town. And then we're all just like, sign, we don't care. Give Josh Cribbs $80 million a year to be a return.
Brian Hoyer, pay the man.
Pay that guy. We like him. It's so easy to manipulate us.
Yeah.
If he genuinely means it, great. If he doesn't, I still like his moves.
It's a 10 out of 10 on the gets us meter.
It is.
Right? I mean, people love that. I take him at his word. I think he believes that.
I do too.
It feels like the whole team feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you more excited to root for them. That's why it's more fun, because you feel like the team loves you.
They're invested in us the same way we're invested in them. My biggest fear is, and this is like my Cleveland fandom that's burned into my DNA coming out. My biggest fear, though, is they never are able to take the step that we all need them to take. We don't want them to be good and
right. That's true.
Let's face it. If there's a team that spoiled us with success, it is this team.
You don't want them in that Pacers purgatory forever where they
it's always the Pacers.
It is.
I feel like for 30 years
is there a more
Pacers.
mediocre team than the Pacers?
But good enough to make it into that first round and then just have
lose
great regular
year.
season, then they lose.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
I don't want to do that.
So
so there's going to have to be another piece.
I think you're
that
right.
comes from outside.
Yep.
He's not here yet.
Nope.
And I don't know who that guy is, but there has to be another piece that comes in that will be able to that we can look at this team and say, yeah.
Do they have room for him?
If Milwaukee could do it, why not Cleveland?
Where are they at salary cap wise? I don't even know.
I think they're pretty close. Well, I think they're going to be close. They probably have
Kevin
room
Love's
now.
only got 1 year left, though.
He's what's killing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's what's
And then it's
killing
also
them.
a matter of if Dan Gilbert wants to pay like $8 billion in luxury tax, too.
He
which
has
is always
shown.
hard to do.
I've had my criticisms of Dan. He in the past has been an over meddler. I think it's a big problem. But he has shown you when they have a chance to win, he'll spend.
I mean,
he's not afraid
he got
to write
more
the
money
check.
than Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
He got a money bin.
Quick Dan Gilbert story about that, too. There's like a rule in the NBA where you cannot, if there's a controversial call, like a bad foul or something like that, you can only show it on the Jumbotron once. And if you show it more than that, then you get fined because you're like riling people up.
Right.
So I would be at games back in the day where it was his call, according to a source, that he would just say, roll it again. Roll it again. And he paid that $20,000 each time just to get everybody angry for a second.
Well, that was like Mark
get
Cuban.
the crowd pumped up. I respect that.
Mark Cuban was kind of the same way.
Yep.
He was yelled for fined for flipping off the refs and yelling at the refs. He knew that I'll write that check because this place is going to love me and they're going to love that
This is a good investment doing this in the fans.
I could just see Dan sitting in the control room saying, roll it again.
Right. Yep.
In fact, put it on a loop.
Exactly.
By the way, the umpire got mad at me at a Little League game yesterday.
Oh, your team made a great comeback but fell
we
short.
fell short.
What'd you do? What'd you
Kids
say?
are playing so
Is
hard.
that your final remark?
No, I should have been, but I didn't. It isn't.
Did you earn it? Did you deserve that?
Well, what happened? I'll tell the story real quick. I'm sorry, Mike. I know we got to go. But so our team is making a big comeback. And
first, explain it. It's your son's Little League team.
So my son's Little League team. It's a great bunch of boys. They're awesome. I'm going to try to bring them down to the studio one time because they'll get a kick out of it.
Right.
13 kids on the team, right? We were down. So second game, we lost our first game 9-4. We're down 7-0 in the first inning.
Whoa.
And we come back. The game was 4 innings because technically you can go 6, but there was not enough time to go 6. So in the fourth inning, we made this. Third inning, we started comeback. Fourth inning, we make a big comeback. It's now 9-8. We're losing.
Oh, wow.
We had the tying run at third with nobody out, and unfortunately, we couldn't get the winning run in, the tying run in. Our last batter got on a bang play at first. But
are you still mad at that kid?
No. I love these kids. I never yell at them. I don't get mad at them. Yeah, I know. But so at one point after the first inning, I made all the kids sit on the bench before they get up because I wanted to talk to them because they would look like down in the mouth because they'd given up 7 runs in the first inning. And I wanted to cheer them up, pep them up, tell them the game's not over, right? And I'm trying to start my conversation, and the umpire comes. He's like, hey, you got to put your outfielders deeper in the outfield. I'm like, go talk to my assistant. I got to talk to my kids.
He's telling you what?
He's telling me there's a rule the outfielders have to play a certain distance for the inning.
Yeah,
I thought they just had to be on the outfield grass. Apparently, they have to be like 3 feet past the grass. Yeah. I'm like, who cares? Go talk to my assistant coach. I got to talk to my kids. That's more important than what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So he seemed a little put off by that.
That also means the other manager came over and complained to him about it. So you got to tell them to get them back.
That's probably how it happened.
I thought the other manager was trying to stall a little to have the game called by darkness, but you know what?
Yeah, that's all the games.
But anyway, the kids are awesome. They played hard. I was really proud of them all for making a big comeback.
How great would it be to have him as your Little League coach?
Oh,
Would that
can
not
you
be
imagine?
amazing?
Can you imagine? Especially when you win.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I go, but this one kid, I said to him, I said, I guarantee you're going to get a hit right here. I feel really good about you getting a hit. He got a hit, and I was like jumping up and down in the dugout.
I've had a lot of fun sports moments. One of my favorite sports moments of my life was when I was coaching my son's Little League team.
Yeah.
There was a kid on the team that had one hit all year. We made it to the championship game.
Yeah.
It was tied in extra innings. He had one hit all year. And you could just see when Danny came up, the whole dugout was like, oh,
it's like a Disney movie.
Danny's
you're right.
up, it's over. Danny got a hit.
Yeah.
And I told Danny in the dog pile on the pitcher's mound, I pulled him aside and I said, Danny, you will remember this moment here the rest of your life. And I saw he was in school with my son, and he was there when he graduated, and I pulled him aside at graduation day. I said, Danny, do you remember what I told you after? He goes, yes, I do, Mr. Crawford, and I will. It was one of the most impactful moments of my life.
No doubt.
That's why sports are so important for
as
kids.
a coach, you want these kids to succeed
You do.
bad.
And then they get to 15, and then they all get struck out by this left-hand guy that went to a Division I school.
All right, good bet, bad bet?
Yeah.
All right, Mikey McNuggets, what do we got?
We're doing a little different today. We're under the wire, so we're going to show the standings first. Let's get the standings
Okay,
up here,
how are we
Steve.
doing? I had a good day yesterday, I think.
Yeah, Jay, you moved up to 500.
Oh.
G. Bush is in the lead at 6.
Look at G. Bush.
Mike
Polk 3-0.
Yeah.
on Tuesday. He's still the clubhouse leader.
Polk.
That's a limited sampling size. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we there was only 2 for us yesterday because the Guardians game got canceled.
I felt that the Warriors might win but not cover. They got destroyed. And I also felt that Milwaukee was they're going to exert their dominance.
All right.
On
Murder without Ja, too. That's
Listen, I mean, what was it, 40 points almost, I think?
Yeah. That was crazy.
Stunning.
Yep.
Okay, what are the games today? What do we have?
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give the bet. Steve's going to pull up the graphic because we have 3 minutes to get to break.
Okay.
We are going to 30 seconds as a panel
Awesome.
select. All right,
Great.
First bet. Over under 3.5 primetime games for the Browns in 2022.
So that you're saying is the over on 3.5 a good bet or a bad bet?
I thought the number was 4.5. No,
3.5.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's bad bet.
Steve's taking the graphic.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that's a bad bet because I don't think they're gonna get 4 primetime games.
Yeah.
Only the Cowboys do that.
Oh, we all said good bet.
I did not.
That's the next graphic. We passed it. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
So
All right.
G-Bush,
G-Bush, you're alone. Why you got?
4 primetime games?
Oh, easy money. This is definitely
Wow.
easy. Yeah, the Browns is one of the best teams in the league.
But because of Watson's unknown status.
Hey,
If you live in a world where he's playing already.
Listen, I know.
I want to be there.
Hey, listen to me. He's not getting no suspension this year to 2020.
If you're right about that, then you will be right about
Well,
this.
the other thing too is we won't even really know tonight because the NBC can flex.
Yeah.
So they can grab the teams that are
But I
playing at 1
think
and 4.
that bet is based on last tonight.
Okay.
Yes,
with
right.
All right, what's
most
next?
Number 2, over half. So 1 would be a good bet of primetime games for the Browns in the first 9 weeks of the season.
Yeah, that's a good bet.
That's easy money.
Yeah, I think
graphics.
they'll
Steve, we all
definitely
agree.
get 1.
Good
Yeah,
bet.
they'll get 1.
Yeah,
That's
I think
easy
that's a
money.
question because does the NFL want to stay away from scheduling the Browns in primetime if they don't know that Deshaun's going to be there?
Right, but they'll still get a Thursday nighter.
You would think.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I did it is because everybody's talking pretty decent chance at an 8-game suspension. Like, that seems to be the high end, as most people say. We're talking about week 9, possibly. You don't think they're going to want him on national TV on his first week back?
It might be week 9
so
then.
it's 9
Although,
weeks in.
if their bye is in the
week,
first
I thought
8
about it.
weeks, they
I
could
know.
push it back to week
that's
10.
true.
Yep.
Ooh,
Yeah.
dicey.
All those things are a
Okay,
nightmare.
what's our third good bet, bad bet?
Last one. When will the Browns play their first AFC North division game? Last year it was week 8. Week 8, excuse me. The line set at 7.5. So if you're later than week 8, it's a good bet. Let's see the graphic.
Bad
Steve.
bet. That was stupid that all of our divisional games were on the
bad
back
bet.
end of the
We
season.
all
I know
said
what the
bad.
league was going for there.
That won't
was-
happen again.
That was
Yeah.
dumb. I
Yeah.
hated that.
I mean, in the year prior, we started off. I think we had the Bengals
And the
early-
Ravens.
and the Ravens
Yeah.
early on in the season.
We're
They
gonna
played
have-
the Steelers in week 1 a bunch of
Yeah.
times.
I
bet you
hated
they played a
last
division
year.
game week 1.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm for that.
Yeah.
Either Pittsburgh or Baltimore
I'd like
right
to.
away, week 1.
Pittsburgh.
Let's
I'd
go.
like to see that.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We do it the same way every day. It is our final take. It's on the other side of this break. Stay with us. Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I'm a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. My favorite all-time Cleveland sports moment, you're not going to believe this, it was Rajay Davis's home run in Game 7 that tied the score.
My favorite Cleveland sports moment would have to be the Kyrie Irving 2016 shot. It's the only time that I've ever cried over any sporting event.
And my ultimate Cleveland memory is when the Cavs won the championship and the day of the parade. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life.
We face challenges every day, some bigger than others, and we never know what's around the corner.
Through the highs and the lows, whatever we face it together. Each morning on Go, we are here with the facts, because what impacts you impacts all of us.
And understanding those facts helps us to make informed decisions for our families, our communities, and our future.
We are here for you every step of the way. Go, weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
What matters most to me is family. Sometimes you don't realize how important it is until you're away from them.
What matters most to Jay? His family. He is a big family man. What matters most to me? My family, my safety, your safety.
I think the thing that most impresses me about Betsy is her versatility. Give her any assignment that involves going in front of a television camera, and she's going to knock it out of the park.
What's new with Betsy and Jay? Weekdays at 5 on 3.
Hey, it's Adam the Bull for the ultimate Cleveland sports show, and I'll tell you what I think of when I think of Cleveland sports. It's that everybody loves it. I've been to other parts of the country, and there's people that love sports and people that don't care. But in Cleveland, everybody cares even a little bit from every walk of life, and that's what makes this city special. Whether it's football, baseball, or basketball, it doesn't matter. The people of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio love their teams like nowhere else in the country.
Bum, 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 bum. Do you have OCD, Mike?
I do. This is bothering me.
He's got to get them all in the right
That's
order.
better?
I'm with you, though. I'm feeling that.
It's not equally spread out without the table.
They were too clustered.
He got the belt
He's
on.
wearing that thing with pride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he's the first one to actually
Does
put
he
it
take
on.
it home?
Oh, I get to wear this till tomorrow, right? Or Tuesday.
24 karat gold.
It looks like it. Take it home. He's going to sleep with it.
Heck yeah.
Okay, final takes. Bull, go.
You know, I briefly mentioned this earlier in the show. I'm sick of this Steelers fear that we all have. Ravens too, but I'm going to specifically talk about the Steelers. I talked about this last year a little bit on my radio show, and I want to take it a step further this year. We, as Browns fans, and everybody here has to stop being scared of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I understand why you're scared of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've dominated the league off and on for many years. But if you're an old enough Browns fan, you remember there was a time where the Steelers were a complete joke and the Browns were great. And contrary to popular belief, I think those times could happen again. Now, it's tough with Mike Tomlin because he's one of the 5 best coaches in the league. But no matter how good a coach you are, you can't make up for all the flaws. The Steelers are not a very good team. I said last year they would finish under 500 for the first time, and I was wrong. But this year, I'm going to be right. The Steelers will be under 500. They're going to finish 8-9 this year. And Mike Tomlin's crazy stretch of never being under 500, which is mind-blowing, never, is finally going to come to an end. The Steelers have been mostly a fraud since they started, I think 11-0 in 2020. They fell totally apart the rest of that season, got smoked by the Browns in the playoffs. And they looked unimpressive down the stretch last year as well. This is not a good team. I don't think their quarterbacks are any good. Their wide receiving core is okay. Their offensive line's still not very good. And their defense, like the Ravens, completely lives off reputation. Don't be scared of being confident against the Steelers. That's how you get over this loser mentality. The Steelers are a fraud, and they're going to prove it this year.
Keep saying it. You'll convince
to hear
yourself.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. But you know what? When Aditi was on earlier saying that the word out of Pittsburgh is people are going to love Mitch Trubisky, when I hear stuff like that, I have PTSD.
We have PTSD. You've earned that PTSD.
That's Pittsburgh Steelers traumatic disorder. Okay?
And it's earned.
I get it.
It's PSTD.
I'm going to help you get over it.
I hope so. God, I hope you're right. But as long as the team isn't afraid of them, I'm okay if the fans are.
You know, I have friends who follow Pittsburgh who genuinely don't like Mike Tomlin and want him gone. They just think that he lost
insanity.
I know. He lost his fastball, they think, and they're just like, he
He's
just can't do it anymore.
There's been a faction of their fans that have been trying to run this guy out for 5 years.
It's because they don't know any better. They haven't experienced what we experienced.
That's crazy.
And it's young.
Call me when you're 0-16.
Ben was maybe the worst quarterback in the league last year, and they still finished over 500.
He had major limitations.
They beat y'all twice.
Yeah. Just
That's
us.
crazy.
Yeah.
Just us.
Uh-huh.
Just us.
All right, what do you got?
You know, I'm a product of hip hop. Hip hop is the culture. Hip hop is what influences my takes. It influences what I wear. It influences how you even think about life and how you move in certain situations. I've always argued, people say, oh my goodness, rappers today, they do a lot in the streets, and is this art imitating life or life imitating art? Well, I always argue, nobody says Denzel Washington is a thug, right? He never comes out in training day. They say, Denzel Washington, Alonzo, you are a bad man. And King Kong does have something on you, by the way. But we will say this. When you look at hip-hop today, I'm a big fan of some of the younger guys. 3 of my favorite artists, some of the youngest dudes doing it in the industry, Young Thug, Gunna, Casanova, all indicted on racketeering RICO charges. Now, if you want to know about RICO charges, just go back and look at the Italian mobs and some of the RICO charges placed on crime syndicates. That's football numbers. And if you don't know what that means, football numbers means 60, 70, 80 years. To all my people out there, if you are rapping and you are an entertainer, just be an entertainer. Just stay on that side of it. At the end of the day, you're giving an opportunity to lots of black young men to earn money. You could put people on, you pay taxes, you could do things to help the community, but don't let the lines of the street and the industry cross over. Because at the end of the day, those two are oil and water. They do not mix. And you don't want to end up in a situation where you look back and say, man, I had it good. Now I'm sitting here hanging out with all the real convicts. So you can talk about what it is. We appreciate you telling us about the struggle of the streets and what's going on in our communities. Just keep it at that and just keep it on wax.
Yeah,
wise counsel.
Don't live it. It's what a shame too, because you fight to make it, and that's when you're supposed to enjoy your life
the most.
And they get to that point where they've broken through, and that's so hard to do because you know how many of them are trying to get there. They get there, and now it's over.
And unlike a lot of other artists of other musical genres, I can't believe I just used that word.
I know, I'm proud of you.
Rappers are almost like the most selfless artists because they collaborate more than any other types of music, which shows like some people have such big egos they don't want to collaborate.
And it's like, being a rapper shouldn't, mean that you have to die at 25. When you look at people going to the penitentiary and people really dying, some of the youngest guys, Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, some of the best young artists that's coming up. It's a shame that they lose their lives at 30. So I just always want to say, hey man, listen, keep it on wax, keep it on in the music, and try to stay away from some of that stuff.
Yeah. Polk, what do you got?
Everyone who tells you that they have any idea what's going to happen with the Browns this year is completely out of their tree. This speculation that we do is fun. We have to, and it's entertaining, but in most years, you have no idea how the year is going to play out. If you look back at yourselves last year giving predictions on the Browns, at what you said, like, here's what I see this season, here's how many wins, here's what's going to happen, and then it would be painful for you guys to watch out. Now, given some things happen and whatnot that mix that up, but we are so far away from that first game, and we are here trying to guess what the schedule will be and how we'll do in the beginning of the season and stuff. They haven't even released a schedule, and we don't know who our quarterback is going to be, which adds a different wrinkle than even in normal years where it's crazy to speculate about how the season's going to go. But now we're trying to speculate about a schedule we don't know, and we don't know who our quarterback is going to be at this point or how long he is going to be gone or not gone. And anyone who's trying to tell you that they know anything it's completely ridiculous. That's all. I think it's just a waste of time right now.
So what you're telling us on tomorrow's show, we will not be going week by week.
Oh, I'm doing
win,
it.
loss,
We
win,
can do
win.
it as long as we don't have to actually expect to get any information
Here's
from
the thing,
it.
Mike.
Say you're doing it for entertainment.
It is a
and don't be
ridiculous
like,
exercise.
And don't be
It's
like, I'll bet you I'm right.
Don't take it seriously, right? Have fun with it.
Sure.
I think I picked the Browns to go like 11-6 or 12-5 last year.
Yeah. I get it, but
I was wrong. Who cares?
Right. But the speculation is so much harder this year because of the quarterback situation.
Yeah, and that's a very good
look
point.
At everything that we had to do today where we're just like, well, what do you think over under on that? And it's like, it totally depends on if that quarterback's there or not.
Yeah.
Is it Jacoby Brissett or is it Deshaun Watson? And you can't make predictions.
Browns can win 5 or 13 games.
Yeah, nothing's going to surprise me. And that's why Aditi is one of the smartest people in media. You asked her to rank the quarterbacks. She's like, incomplete.
Yeah.
That's my rating.
Yeah, that's a good point.
How do you do that? I don't even know who the Browns are going to start.
Right.
It could be Jacoby. It could be to Watson. There's a chance it could be Baker, even though she doesn't think there is. You don't know.
Josh Dobbs.
We just pretend to know.
Anyways,
okay.
I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that I'm still the champion.
You are.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
you'll keep that until tomorrow.
He had that thing like a sports bra. He pulled that
It's actually probably a good look.
G. Bush tells me that is 0.24 karat gold.
Yeah,
Oh, you can tell it.
It's almost the real deal.
He's right.
Look at that.
He's right.
Beautiful.
All right. So my final take today is on the schedule. I mean, it's coming out tonight, and so I thought this would be a perfect time to go off on this particular topic. Right now, the NFL is set at 17 games. That's a placeholder. 18 is coming. 18 is ridiculous. It's too many. I propose going back to 16. This is a product of greedy billionaire owners just wanting to add more billions to their bank account. Who pays the price for that? The players do. Every single time an NFL player straps on a uniform and walks onto a field, he is facing the very real possibility that not only might his career end, he might lose the freedom of being able to walk. We've seen that happen in the sport. It's a gladiator sport. When is enough enough? Used to be 12, then it was 14. Now it's 16 and 17. We know this is a placeholder for the owners to get to 18. I say stop it. These guys are not commodities, they're people. And you're killing them. You're ending their careers early by asking them to play an extra week. What have we ever been able to settle in 17 games that we didn't already know at 16? Just stop.
Good point.
It's so greedy.
Good point.
I love the NFL. The one thing I hate about it, and I know that Bull's looking at me like, I love the games. I want 50. And I'm with you.
Yeah,
but it comes
selfishly,
at a cost.
I like it, but I agree. You're right. It's greed. It's unfair to the players.
And eventually the quality will suffer if these players can't take the field every week. And it's just there's too many injuries.
Last year, there were more injuries than any year before. Why? We played another game.
You know, it would be a good way to settle it, and they'll never do this. You play 18 games, but no player can play more than 16.
It'd be interesting because teams would have to help.
When do you sit your quarterback?
You're going to healthy scratch at Deshaun Watson. You could do it against bad teams.
That's nice to have the fantasy. I like that. You got to plan around the
They'll
bye week.
never do it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Then you don't make the players play more than 16, but you get your 18 games.
Man,
there should be 2 bye weeks. Once you went to 17 games, should have gone to 2 bye weeks.
I agree with that.
Yeah, no, I'm all with that.
And that also gives you rescheduling room if something happens. Like, remember, you know.
And then we could get the Super Bowl President's Day weekend. Most people won't have to go work on
that. Should be a national holiday.
Yes, 100%.
If it's President's Day weekend, Commissioner Bull.
Absolutely. I'm all for it.
Yeah. But 17, we don't need it. Did we not know after 16 who the players were and who the pretenders were?
Yep. It's just about greed. But the players will make more money off it too, but they're the ones taking all the risk.
You can ask a 25-year-old, are you good to do this?
Right,
25 games a year? Sure. Just show me the money.
Of course.
Now go ask Bernie Kosar.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ask the guys, ask Jim McMahon. Go ask
the majority of the league is young, minimally paid guys who are like,
but go talk to the 50-year-olds and watch them try to move through life and cognitively think.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just, what we got planned for tomorrow? What we got
tomorrow's going to be a great show. I'm glad you asked. So Greg Newsome of the Browns is going to be our guest.
Wow,
We're
nice.
very excited about that. DeQuell Jackson, we've been slowly rolling out, like the NFL and its schedule, slowly rolling out our roster of stars and guests. DeQuell Jackson's going to join the show. Is it every Friday, Mikey? Every Friday we're going to have DeQuell Jackson. He's one of
my
favorite
favorite players when he was here.
And I'm with you. I love DeQuell Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that the media world is going to love DeQuell.
No doubt.
Smart, makes great points, and was a premier player in the league. So we're excited about that. And, of course, we'll have a complete schedule breakdown of the Cleveland Browns. But per Mike's request, we will not go week by week.
Appreciate that.
We won't do that.
You can do it. It's just
we will.
Just understand
what are you talking about? We are doing that.
Have fun.
I love the schedule game.
Have fun. Just recognize the pointlessness
I love
of
it too,
it.
but not when you don't know who your quarterback's going to be. When you don't know who your quarterback's going to be, it's all going to be shots in the dark. Well, if Watson's our guy, this is a win.
I think if we do the
This
schedule
guy
game,
knows.
we have to go into it saying with it clear. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to say
we'll set parameters.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, we're out of time. Thank you
And
again
it'll
so
be
much. We
ridiculous.
went
Yes,
11
it
minutes of overtime, guys. You will not be compensated for that.
Fair enough.
I just wanted to let you know. We're back tomorrow. We hope to see you then.
There it is.
You can find us on wherever you get your podcasts. You can download it and check us out there. Go to our YouTube page. You can watch our shows or our clip segments on YouTube. That's beautiful, Mike. And don't forget, if you go to
Easy, girl.
YouTube,
Easy,
subscribe,
girl.
hit the notifications bell, and like. We will see you tomorrow. We love you, Cleveland. That thing